Ladies and gentlemen, I hope all of you are doing really well, my friends of all ages. Welcome. You're watching the IESF Romanian qualifiers. We've got two of the amazing teams right now in front of us. And by the way, it's a semi final matchup. It's going to be Sentinels up against none other than Rockets. Yeah, do not get confused by the name that's out there. We're going to be beginning the game number one really soon. And just to throw out all this information, it's going to be a best of three matchup. So the one who's going to get the first game will eventually get the advantage. Yes, that's one part of it. But at the same time, we're going to be making sure that both of these teams have got equal opportunities. They've got that big, long marathon in front of them because. Fun fact, we're also going to have the finals today itself. So you do not want to run out anywhere. And in the meantime, make sure you quickly like the stream as well and subscribe to the channel so that you do not miss out on any of the further updates. Is the Romanian qualifiers right now? We've been having a lot of matches on the back end, so both of these teams are pretty solid. You could clearly see that they've got a certain amount of potential too. And by the way, the one who's going to yap for the entire time, at least for this series, is going to be me, Scared Yet. And in the grand finals, I'm going to be joined by another one of my favorite casters out there, and that's going to be Kronos. I know you guys do not know him, but you will pretty soon. But with all of that said and done, we're going to be quickly jumping into the drafting phase. And if I'm not wrong, I think so. It is Team Rockets who are on the blue side for the first one. Sentinels will be taking on that red side. Again, right away from the first few bands, we know it from the history. And let's be honest about that. Zushins, Harrods, maybe Rangers into the mix if you really want to, or something along the lines of a Lucas Methilda. So many of these picks are right now open that you will eventually have to respect. But one interesting thing is for a fact that the Zushin has been banned out as the first ban, which we don't usually see if you're on the blue side. Most of the time, it is a team who's on the red side who will eventually ban it out, right? So that's a bit of an interesting choice. Maybe, they kind of want to keep things open for some other picks, some along some different lines. It's going to be a Sicilian along with Joy being banned out by the side of Sentinels. Slowing it all down now, finally. Banning out a Sicilian again, you just didn't really want to give that mid lane control to the other side. So focusing on those mage pools would eventually open up the box for something along the lines of maybe an Eve, maybe a Farsa. There's quite a lot of heroes that you can actually pick in that mid lane after you banned out the Zushin and Sicilian. So again, we are probably going to see a few more comfort picks as well. One of the underrated pick that I personally feel is something along the lines of a Kadita, who can literally play like a sneaky assassin, delete you in an instant, and then move out. Plus, we've kind of build around a meta where we are seeing a bit of Moscow's come into play. And I think so Kadita answers a Moscow pretty well in the meantime. All the bans over right now. Again, since we were too much focused on the mages, we've had the first pick already, and that's going to be the Badang for the side of Team Rockets. While on the other side, again, there's so many open. Lucas and Aphovius could be the primary choice since it's normally prioritized, but it's fine. They really want to go on with a Harith. And I think so. Again, you can probably pick up something along the lines of a high loss, maybe a Gatot Kacha if you want to try and add in a bit more flex. Just so the enemy do not know where you're gonna put that next pick to. It makes things a bit more difficult to counter. And yeah, that's where we are. It's gonna be a high loss pick. Again, a pretty solid draft, at least for the early opening, but I'm thinking of Lucas being picked up right now, but maybe neither of these teams want to really focus on that one. They want to just pick up the comfort picks, and that's exactly what they've done even now. A Hayabusa being brought in, being picked up. You know that it's going to be pretty annoying, but the main part about all of that is the fact that a Hayabusa requires a bit of a late game, a slow approach in the starting few minutes of the game, and seeing a high loss along with a Harith, that just means you're kind of eyeing out for a decent early game into a heavy mid game snowball. So I'm pretty sure we're going to see the rest of the draft fall in the similar direction. Though for Ramis being picked up, Granger Ban is being called out again. You picked up a Harith, so you really want an easy matchup for the Harith in lane. Maybe they can try and ban out the Erethiel for the next one too. But for the side of Team Rockets, picking up the Hayabusa, picking up a Neve again gives you a lot more room, a lot more control. And considering the nether realms of the Faramis works in a close range, you do not want to get caught in that real world manipulation. It
I
is going to
am
become a
more than
heavy
a
killbox
weapon.
comp. We know that the current meta kind of revolves around having a lot of CC, trying to chain it all together because the goal laners are just busted. At least some of them are.
Muscle of iron,
So you
bones
kind of
of
want to
steel.
ban it out as much as possible. And since we're already on that road, Gatotkacha has been taken out too. One of the only few picks that can eventually, be a pain for the other side. You don't really want to give them any more combined CC. Now, Fanny being taken off the bat, so you're already out in the picture. So you know that there's no other junglers apart from maybe again Lucas, something along that lines. Please go for a Lucas. Maybe something that can actually catch an Eve out in the open, though. But the options are available. Maybe they want to lock in the Roamer or the EXP laner, whichever one currently they want to close it out. Could still go around something that can actually lock down this Hayabusa. I think so. A show would actually be a decentish option, but it
I am
still
not
goes into
the
the
only
fact that
one bound by these
you don't really have
chains.
enough burst to pick anyone off. So eventually they're going to lock in the phobias. That means the Hayabusa or
I've been
the
waiting for so
Hylos is
long.
actually going to go into that the roam position. Phobia's is technically gonna have a fairly easy matchup against the Badang. Carry being locked in, I kind of like the idea, but at the same time, I think so. Maybe a bit of a unorthodox pick of a Claude would have worked out, just because how quickly he melts the Faramis' nether realms. Can't really blame me for that. Hmm. Last pick, a roam. You've already banned out the Garudkacha. The Hylos has been picked from the other side. The options that now remain are limited, but don't quite know about the chip though, and the jawhead as well. A
Follow your
little
wicked
bit
gaze before the
risky, I
rod of
must say.
greed.
It eventually is going to be again a pick off. Now, I'm not quite sure about this one pick of jawhead, right? You kind of have an idea where you want to pick someone else off, but I think so. Those two purifiers that are actually coming in by Badani and Mr. Q are going to be big thorn into those ejectors, or rather, I think so. It could be a play where Kuhn is eventually ejecting the other people out just to bait out the purify, so that they could be eventually caught in that killbox composition later on. I've been constantly yapping around what might happen, what might not actually happen. So eventually, we're gonna keep all of those predictions for the later stages as it's about time we head into the land of dawn, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be Team Rocket on the blue side and Sentinels on the red side. And need a confirmation for that. And yes, I have that confirmation too. It's going to be Rockets. Let's see how many Pokemons can they throw out in the open right now, because all it needs is one Pikachu to eventually send you back flying into your hot air balloon. But I like the leash that's already coming in over towards the orange buff of the Hayabusa. Zane is going to be slowly moving all the way back down there, and eventually, Daddy is. I'm not going to call him that. Alpha is going to be a bit more behind in terms of that farm, and we have seen this time and time again. Pretty solid way to play the Jawhead out there, though, and a carry again in towards that gold lane matchup. Something I really wanted to talk about is where carry shines in the late game. But Harath is someone who really needs that level 4, needs the magic book as well a bit, and the Azure blade with the magic shoes combination in order to get that additional cooldown reduction. So as soon as he's level 4, he'd be able to spam his Chrono Dash, but right now it's going to be a pick on the bottom side. Maybe not a very quick Oogie Shadow kill onto the Phobius, and eventually Vodka is just going to survive. How many times have we actually seen? I mean, his name is Vodka, so it's absolutely understandable he's going to survive. An early engagement down bottom. Again, no more Oogie Shadow kill for the turtle. Now, that definitely means Team Rocket are actually going to be a bit of one more on that struggling end. But any on the Faramis just needs to position themselves pretty well. Turtle Pit already in control of the other side. That's going to be a big thing. I'm pretty sure that the Hayabusa is not really going to go in for any kind of contest. Sentinels have got a full coverage of that area, and even the Badang was forced to recall. So the lane priority is also in the hands of Vodka. And towards the mid lane, they've cleared the wave very fast. I love the early game presence that Sentinels are showing right now because they know that their win priority is a Harith. They need to make sure that Mr. Keo stays alive. And that is the reason why we are constantly seeing the high loss rotate all the way from mid to top and back into that river area. This is one of the good ways of playing that roam position, and they're doing a pretty solid job. Now, it all falls down to the members of Rocket because they need to be the aggressors. They need to be the ones to pull the strings. If in case they keep on letting this alpha farm freely, you're going to be busted down in an instant right now. They're trying to go for a similar kind of approach too, but Kuhn Panda is not really the guy you'd really want to send towards your team. That's going to be a big problem, though. But there we go. The Ponks coming in from the foreways, just trying to zone them all off. The Oogie Shadow Kill onto the Harith. But everyone just pops in together to try and deny all of that. But with the real world manipulation, that's exactly what you wanted as the Nether Realm comes. But it's a bit too late with the Alpha Spirit of Alpha jumps in, tries to take down the Padang. Will eventually get a bit of a consolation out there. But as Mr. Q is down, that still is a trade which will go in favor of Team Rocket. A 1-for-1 out there. MCN, the only casualty for their side. After how long that team fight went, I genuinely thought that we might see more than 2 deaths right now. We might possibly see that happen. And Bideni picks up Zayn. A bit of a mistake out there from my man, which eventually led to his demise, and now that will also lead to the purple buff being stolen away. This is the Alpha Snowball I was talking about. Again, not on a high loss. You don't really want to throw him down as he pops on the glorious pathway, and it is such a phenomenal one. It denied any kind of backup to Hoon out there in the open. A lot of people might panic out in that situation and put the glorious pathway defensively so they could run away. But he just popped it aggressively. It's like, all right, you want to go and chase me? Sure, try that in your own tower. They're like, yeah, we're not going to do that. Again, moving all the way down towards that bottom lane. I love the rotations that are actually coming in from Vodka. Just look at his position. Always in those bushes, constantly trying to provide that vision. It seems like they're just ready to go. All gung ho yet again towards the turtle, though, but this time it's still going to be Zane who picks it up. Not a bit of a problem out there. Maybe a little bit in terms of the scouting for Sentinels. Giving it away a little bit as Zane picks up the Hunter Strike. I want to have a look at the itemizations right now to see where all the players have built up till now. Corrosion Strike already being picked up by carry, so you know that she's going to be dealing a decent amount of damage. But again, it's just the first items right now. Faram is prioritizing the glowing wand. Now that's not going to be a heavy regen out. Carry uses the flicker, and there we go. The unstoppable force as well onto the high loss as he pops in the glorious path with the Nether Realm a bit more preemptively. He eventually will result in a disengage. Everyone just being a-okay out there, but again, not something I was really expecting that's going to happen. We just have to wait and see now how they're gonna slowly turn this entire snowball over to its head because Rockets really need to try and find some openings. They are running an Eve, but the problem is they're not able to poke a high loss enough yet. Again, a little bit later, it's gonna change. And similar problems could also be pointed out for the members of Sentinels right now because they don't really have a solid way to stop the Hayabusa in its tracks apart from a law and order that's going to come in from high loss that's stun. If that lands, cool. If that does not, then you're kind of relying with that grip of Phobius and maybe the Sphere of Alpha, which is technically difficult to land on a sly running away target, just like a Hayabusa we have. So I think so we'll probably change a few things out there as the next turtle is going to spawn. Both the teams have equal positionings out there. In the top lane, the Ogi Shadow Kill used up. Did not catch any pick on Mr. Kyo. An absolute phenomenally timed chrono dash to hop out of the Yugi Shadow Kill. That gives a big opening. to the members of Sentinels. It's again unstoppable force with the ejector, but the retribution hops in at the right time as the bounce go in, and it's Eve who has to cancel out the real world manipulation preemptively as it's all Coon alone out air. Was bloody demolished out in the open, and it's the tier 1 and mid that's going to be knocked in, but not enough HP right now. The damage for the members of Sentinels to take it down. It's still going to be no towers lost. All the structures standing strong. Maybe the top one. Can't really say the same thing, but a big, big fight and a big win. This is kind of exactly what the members of Sentinels want to do. Want to try and make sure that the other side is forcing an engage. You dodge out the main skills and then pick off your priority targets. This is what an EXP laner is supposed to do. He knows for a fact that the Eve is actually going to create a lot of problems right now, but maybe it is not just all down to Eve. It's also Zayn as he picks up an early malefic roar. We normally see players prioritize things like a Sky Piercer, but this is just not happening in that way right now. All over towards the bottom side as well. Vodka chills you this time. Maybe overheating you a little bit as eventually it was a pick off down in the bottom lane. And if carry is farming up, you know there's a big problem. Lovely rotation coming in from Kuhn as well, making sure that even if the tower is going down, the carry will stand strong. The dual wheel, that's the big question. If it's still up or not right now, it's on cooldown and a golden staff being picked up as well by Arm. Now that's kind of power scaling you were not really hoping for. The lead is still in favor of Sentinels, but just because of the scaling of Team Rocket, I think so they would be winning in any kind of prolonged team fight. You either pick your target, take them down. Right now, it's a dead bush setup. A Hayabusa still gonna jump in over towards backline, but a massive spear of Alpha. Not just one or two, but rather three people, which will eventually force the disengage. That was such a phenomenal one. That is the kind of Spear of Alpha that you need, but still, four major ultimates used up on the other side. There's still a couple of more available. Mr. Kyo, probably 5 more seconds for the cooldown on his one. It's going to be a 50-50 on that Lord, maybe. As the Hayabusa jumps in, Ugi Shadow Kill gets a killing spree already. Making a double two as the Paramus falls. No more Nether Realm to protect you. Lord, no HP. Look at Zayn. He moves all the way from back, tries to steal, gets knocked up from the Lord, but it's still a double for carry as a few shutdowns go out. It still is going to be Rocket who will be flying high in this first Lord fight. The flank was just immaculate by Zayn. The timing that he picked up on the back of it, sublime. Even though he got knocked up, he just made sure he's going to get his retribution on time. That's exactly what you want to see from the Hayabusa. Law and order, though, not going to create any problem. As the Lord now marches down all the way from the top side, we get a glimpse of the itemization to the Feather of Heaven being picked up and a Holy Crystal now being prioritized by Mr. Kyo. It is an expensive item considering the scenario of your team's gold deficit. Yeah, it's going to take a bit more time to build up. Dreadnought armor is being picked up already by a couple of players with a Vorax. I'm surprised though that there is no Thunder Belt for the first item of Vodka. That might actually be a mistake, but right now the mistake would also be this ejector as now they're caught in no man's land, even though there's a real world manipulation. Bit of a knockback on the back of it, but MCN will still be taken down. No more Zayn to support you, as he was supposed to use the Oogie Shadow Kill earlier on. A bit of a mishap out there or a misstep that has resulted in Team Rocket to stumble a little bit. Do not ask me why I'm constantly calling them Team Rocket while their name is Rocket. Can't really answer that on stream. Couple of towers in the bottom lane being taken down too. The mid tier 2 is also almost about to fall. That means there's not going to be a lot of map control for Sentinels for this upcoming Lord fight, where currently we are seeing the Alpha position himself, but again, oh, hold on a second. It's going to be a glorious pathway already dropped down, but the ejector is just enough. The real world manipulation was used up too in the meantime to just make sure that there's no way that big horse will be running away. But in that entire duration, Mr. Q was just pushing out on top. While the Alpha cleared out the bottom lane, the question is, will they get the tower though? I think so. It's going to be left down on a very low HP. And I also love the fact what Zane did there. Did not really clear out the entire wave, but left the minions on a bit of a low HP so that the wave can slow push. And he's setting it up at a perfect time as well because it's almost what, just 20 something seconds for the Lord too. A good retaliation from the other side as well. They managed to clear it out. And in terms of an Alpha and a Hayabusa is able to rotate between the lanes way too quickly. And that is the reason why Zayn is also surviving right now. But it seems like the Alpha, with again the Winter Crown, may be able to sustain through that. But even the Nether Realm was not enough. And this is not the perfect position to fight as the real world manipulation drops them down one after other like the pieces of dominoes. They've all been just forced to retreat back. No retribution for your team. And no damage in the form of a Hara. That is a free lord for Zayn. And on the back of it now, they've got an even more control than what they had previously. Lovely approach in that team fight. They just kind of made sure that as soon as the first player was picked up, and that too, an alpha, they would just eventually move up. Panda was supposed to give out the information. He was supposed to scout out. But the big problem is that Panda is constantly getting picked off. He's being poked down. And I think so that poke is now finally hurting him. On the back of the glowing wand as well by the Eve. And again, Carry just with your auto attacks is constantly creating those problems. No squad shadows right now for Zayn though, so I don't think so they'll be forcing a fight. But the Spirit of Alpha has been baited out. That's a big thing though, with the flicker, foot back play into the real world manipulation. That's gonna be another stun landing, and HP is falling like it's absolutely nothing. Super low in that Panda as he still tries to survive, but Mr. Kyo through all of that, even without a flicker or a purify, was able to get a triple. And that is the only reason his team survived. I think so they kind of mismatched the timing there a little bit because I'm pretty sure Zayn must have said that my Oogie shadows are actually on a cooldown. My quad shadows are on cooldown. And that was the reason why he could not jump in on time. And that's the reason why Mr. Kyo got those freebies hit onto them. Looking at the items as well, again, standard builds for most of them all around the board. The only new thing, no Sky Piercer and an early Blade of Despair into an Endless Battle. Now, that's again an interesting build, which used to work a long time back too. But I think so it's pretty solid if you're kind of performing like how Zayn is. Again, no major need of that. Still no Athena shield for Khun, and I think so that is where the problem is also lying. He prioritized the dominant size, then went in for the dreadnought armor. Only he's got the silence rope till now with the immortality into the mix. A bit of a rusted up play out there in the inhibitor, though, I must say. Setting a few things up out there, maybe just trying to scout out a few things. Oh, this bush, Zayd should be able to get maybe a bit of a damage out there, though. Did not even force out any kind of winter crown. That's a decent amount of sustain, I must say, but not quite sure if that's still enough, even for an alpha, because he was almost dropped out. Had it not been for the support of Mr. Kyo, I think so. It would have been enough to take them down, though. But hold on a second. Right now, they're going to try and force out any kind of combat as the Nether Realms has been fogged up already. Rainy pretty low in that HP as well as again the carry is trying to free hit, but will eventually be taken down by Mr. Kyo as they joins it from the back line. But the Rugi Shadow used up will still get the double from the basics. Mr. Q wants to chase this man down, but how are you going to chase a Shadow as he's constantly popping in and out of existence? He gets a maniac and to top it all off. He will be denied a savage like a classic best friend stuff. It's still going to be a big win for the side of Rockets and Sentinels. Did not know what happened to them. I love the fact how even Badang just face tank to make sure the cannon minion stays alive. Phenomenal performance from Team Rocket. Sentinels did not know what bit them in the back out there. Zayn, the timing of his flanks was just absolutely perfect. Now, this is something you can't really know every single time where the other person is going to pop in from. But with the way how they were playing, picture perfect. On the back of it, though, having a look at the itemizations again, a Sky Piercer being forced out by Alpha. Still going to use his name out there. But Annie had a standard build again with the glowing wand out there in the enchanted talisman into the winter crown too. They had the idea, but I still feel that maybe a thunder build would have been a better way to go on vodka because it would have given him a lot of stacks in the defenses as well. And at the same time, on the other end of the spectrum, again, everything just standard. It fell down to how well MCN was able to initiate, and the coordination of him with Sun was absolutely perfect. Constantly bombarding the other side with those walls, and then some bombs being dropped down from you on top from heaven on the real world manipulation, and all of that while Zane was constantly using that time to flank your team. It just blew the minds of everyone. And without wasting any kind of time, we're going to be jumping into the game number two, ladies and gentlemen. As this time, it's going to be Sentinels on the blue side, Rocket on the red side. As the first ban itself, it's going to be a respect ban, Hayabusa. Not something I was really expecting, but guess what? This is something we get to see. Again, from the other side, maybe a Zushin, Mathilda, probably going to be the standard answers.
Butterflies born by thy
Not
wish,
going to go any kind of
guided
fancy,
by lantern's light.
maybe. How do you change a few things now for Sentinels? You banned out a Hayabusa. Do you ban out the Harith as well, or you try and prioritize that again? Because in the Golden, I don't think so. That's a bit of a problem for Arm. Jesus, my man has not written a name. He's written an entire captcha. But I'm still going to call him Arm. He'll be banning out the Badang too. With those constant problems that MCN was creating for them, yeah, they don't really want any of that. They're not buying into that anything.
Tail's been
Two
itching
of the
for a
heroes
real
that
fight.
were left open in the previous one have been banned out by Sentinels this time. Clearly shows you that they are willing to adapt, they're willing to change. Plus, now since they're on the blue side, it gives them a bit more leeway to work around with their draft a little bit. Quite a lot of picks open. Even the Joy is left open, which was banned out in the previous one. So maybe you can still keep that one. A Suyu left open. So you have a lot of options in terms of those jungles. Only the Hayabusa till now, the only casualty in terms of the bans. The gold lane is pretty healthy. Lucas is out there. I don't think so. We're still going to see any high loss ban. I don't think so. That was a
Always on the
major
way.
issue out there. But all right, they're going to take out the Mathilda. No more airlines assist for you with the guiding winds.
The Immortal One chose me to vanquish the shadows that plague
So
this
you on one
world.
side could potentially be a Joy first pick.
Time to drop the beat of
Yep,
the flash.
they're going to lock it in instantly, not even giving a chance to the other side. But this probably means a
Only
Lucas
love
Phobius for the
and
first one,
light
though. No,
are
it's going to be a
everlasting.
Cecilion, the mid lane priority in the hands of Sun.
I am not the
Making
only
sure he's got
one
that
bound
range
by
though, and
these
locking in with
chains.
the Phobius. MCN is probably now going to show Vodka how the Phobius is supposed to be played. Maybe that's what he's trying to say. Harith picks if it's going to be retained. And again, I'm not quite sure where your main source of damage would be because you've locked in a Joy already. That's Magic Jungler. If you're locking in the Harith in the gold lane, that means you pick up the mage as well, and that is also a lot of magic damage. So I'm not quite sure if just a couple of Athenas
Among
and
the
the
planes
Radiance, you'd
exists
be able
the
to breathe through all
equilibrium,
of that. They pick up
which
the
I
Eve.
was made for.
They've revealed their entire draft till now. Oh my goodness. Things. I, I personally don't like
I've
it.
been waiting for
They've
too long.
showcased everything. Locking carry by arm. I kind of like the idea. Rockets probably anticipated that since the Harith has been picked up, the next few bans could be again the gold lane. So they could have banned out the Granger, could have banned out the carry as well to try and stop any kind of onslaught. So they just locked it in early. And they're banning out the Angela right now. You don't really want to deal with these Angela combinations on either a Harith or
Sir,
even on a
what's your
Joy.
command?
Plus, I think so. Maybe Again, it brings in the question. You can't really pick up a chip in this case. If you pick up a high loss, that's again another source of magic damage. That means even the Radiant Armor as the first priority item will work wonders for the side of Rocket. And you can't really play a chip in this kind of composition. You still need someone to go in for the front line. Karut Catcher right now being banned out to make sure Arm is just going to be free from any kind of AOGs. Love the bans though, prioritizing that roam position in the meantime as that high loss is left open. And again, it is still going to be the first pick right now in the second phase. The first pick is going to be for Rocket. So they can try and prioritize a high loss yet again. Maybe it's going to work out for them, but no, they pick up the Lucas. I love the idea. They kept it for the second phase. It was left open out in the bans. They did not ban it, and now they've logged it into final two picks for Sentinels. How are you gonna answer that? You've got Joy for the dive, you've got a Harith as well, and an Eve who kind of needs protection from a front to back, but it is not technically a front to back composition. So you could either go all dive in and play Eve for a bait, or maybe you can just hope the Joy to get proper timing and maybe pick something up that can stop the dive from the other side. Maybe lock in a Cho for the roam place. I think so. A Cho would work pretty fine. But for the EXP lane, you again need something for the crowd control. Maybe I was thinking of a high loss that can close in the gap, but a Hilda works fine too. But eventually, it's going to be a Carmilla. Um, ah, yeah, I think so. A couple of magic defense items would just be enough to sustain through the entire damage potential of the other side. Final pick. I see a high loss, maybe a chip. Anything could work for you. Either of those picks are actually going to work wonderfully. Chow, it's even better. I was kind of anticipating a Cho pick from Sentinels though, but Rocket have decided for themselves to pick it up. Got a pretty solid support in the form of Lucas as well for that damage. So as soon as he turns level 4, that beast form Kamehameha is just gonna be enough to take them down. And yes, I do call that Kamehameha. I don't know, you could call it the Spirit Bomb or the Biju Bomb if you guys are a fan of Dragon Ball and Naruto. Can't really find a reference for One Piece though for that same ability. Been thinking for a while. Don't really see anyone throwing bombs out of their mouth, technically, change morphing themselves into a wolf. But who knows? Maybe the guys in the chat are gonna eventually tell me something. Ladies and gentlemen, still gonna be Sentinels, this time on the blue side, taking on none other than Rocket on the red side, as it is the IESF qualifiers semi-finals. Don't want to miss out on the action out there because we are in the land of dawn and it is the game number 2. 1-0 lead already in favor of Rocket, which they really want to extend and close the series out in a 2-0 fashion, while Sentinel wants to try and force a game number 3. We'll just have to wait and see if that happens or it is denied. River control already being established by Cho. Khan can eventually go in for some nasty setups for his team as both the junglers starting from their purple buff means they're probably going to end up on the opposite end of the map with the way how it's going. And the positioning also kind of says the same thing. The priority for Sentinels is again going to be that gold lane. They want to snowball early. They want to make sure that the Joy is able to take those fights and eventually get a perfect timing. You can't really dive head on with the Joy. You have to wait. You have to play it a bit slow. And you've got to find a perfect timing on the back of it. Unfortunate. Just not able to turn level 4 right now though. There's a Cho on the other side. You kind of want to jump in, dive in, but it's not enough damage out there. Everyone's going to be surviving, including San. Bit of a position being showed out there, open with the rhythm of B. They want to try and catch one, and it's San who's the first casualty. Lovely timing being picked up, and on the back of support from the Carmilla, they were able to take him down. A trade on the south of the map as the entire north is now being pushed up. Hilda being the first blood out in the open, though, and this is the strength of Lucas. We have seen this rotation from Zayn even in the previous game. We saw him leaving everything out there in the goal lane, and he quickly moved in for the EXP to try and pick up a fight there, though. He wants to this time shut down the Carmilla, who wants to run away. The Retribution used up with the Vengeance too, but Zayn still had enough damage to get that pick. It just blows the mind though, but at the same time, maybe another rhythm of beat right onto the head of the Phobius as he goes in for those bongs, trying to catch in a bit more damage. No more passive, still has got a few stacks out there, but will be taken down as everyone from his team was zoned out by the RWM. But Harith, that is not the place where you wanted to dash, was eventually taken down by Arm. And yeah, the turtle's technically been traded because your gold laner was picked off down in the bottom side. So even though, in terms of macro, you could say maybe Joy was winning out there, yeah, since they lost the gold lane, that's a bit of a problem. Though, lovely knock-up coming in, and on the back of it, Kuz just moves out of there. He's like, I don't want any of what they're selling as Zayn. Will be taken down a 3v3 on the top. Phobius on your heads, and then it's Sicilion smacking you down with the Bat's Impact. Will eventually force the members of Sentinel for a retreat. You don't really want to put this one into the late game basket because there's a Sicilian on the other side. I wish someone said the same to me. And there's also a carry on the other side. So late game is going to be a bit more problematic. And in the meantime, Kun, he's just constantly finding some perfect timings with those knockups too. And he does not care about committing his flicker only for his Jeet Kundo knockup. It's not only like a big, massive flicker way of the dragon play. He's absolutely cool with just knocking the 3 or 2 people up out on the other side while the Sanguine Claws are charged up. And I have to say, the Sanguine Claws have been pretty solid for Sun. We just had a glimpse of the itemizations out there again. Glowing Wands being forced out early on with the Corrosion Strike now finally being picked up. I was about to say Arm is still building up on that. 4.5 minutes, I think so. It's a pretty decent time to be picking that item up. Dominance on the other side though. Trying to sustain through all of the damage of Phobius. Oh, lovely timing, perfect beats. Maybe this could be the damage, as in the real world manipulation. You're immobilized, and it's Mr. Q who hops in, gets a triple in the early stage itself, and now can get a bit of a gold as well from the mid tier 1, as the turtle is now left open for Sentinels. They're playing it to absolute perfection. The setup, the early engagements that are happening from the Joy, eventually leading to Mr. Kiyop getting some picks, but that's not the place you want to fall. This man gets up a triple kill, and it eventually is taken down by Arm. Not once, but twice it has happened. While the team is picking the turtle, Arm is picking up a kill on the Harith. That's a bit of a problem out there, a bit of a bummer. Knock up into the way of the dragon, into the Bath Priest as well, with Zayn picking up that kill. No Kamehameha available right now, as he used it up preemptively, but on the back of it, they were able to quickly deal that punishing blow onto both Joy as well as Panda. That's something that you would really want to see for Sentinels, as they had a decent amount of gold lead, but now are in the deficit of 200. And even Zayn has moved all the way up top. And I love the fact how Kun is constantly giving out the information too, but finally, it's going to be a bit of a slow coming in from the Void Crystal too. But nothing apart from that, Badani was there, helping out Hilda, clearing out that wave. This game is entirely going to flow in the direction where Cho takes it. If Kun is able to land in some nasty way with the dragons, just like this one, into the carry though, but they just missed out on that starters again. There's going to be the ultimate, the power of wilderness out there in the open. Mr. Q as well, just enough damage for the Eve to pick up that kill. A bit of a misengage out there. Wanted to throw the Hilda into the skill one of carry, but that just did not happen. That star missing entirely up right now. A decent amount of damage being dealt though by San. They're still holding a they're holding it strong though, but I think so. I said it a bit too early, but in the meantime, yeah, the Joy is gonna be trying to run back as the Lucas joins the fight. Zane is a bit too far away though, throws out the Kamehameha only to support MCN, who will eventually back out of all of that fight. Now, there is a I wouldn't even say that it's a problem just because of the fact how Kun is there, but Joy is getting a free entry. He's getting the free time onto the back line just like this right now. Zayn, he's still trying to survive with the phobias. Ups and for the bonks and the basic attacks are enough for the dual light field. Even though the curse of blood was used in the back line, they themselves are trying to run as rockets are picking apart Sentinel one after the other. Mr. Q had something else to say, but the way of the dragon answered him back too. It's a back and forth in that engagement as Zayn will eventually now fall. Should fall, misses the tornado eye. Should not survive that, and that's the Void Crystal's damage. Enough for that blast. Enough to punish the jungler on the other side. A 3 for 3. But it still falls probably in the favor of Sentinels. You can't really say that. But since they're in the gold lead, yeah, I'm gonna say that. Holy moly, if this goes to game number 3, I am cooked. And I'm pretty sure I can sense who would be laughing on that joke. No one in the audience, but a couple of people who are sitting with me in this VC. At the same time, it's me who's brought upon this myself. But right now, even the members of Rockets are trying to bring a nasty play upon themselves. It's the real world manipulation onto the head, while the Mr. Q was able to take the Lord, the shutdown in the hands of San. But that's the only thing they got. A bit of a basic attack out there by arm. Should eventually pull his arm back from the place he was trying to put it into. That was nasty. Mr. Q will be taking down the tier 1 on the bottom side. So 3,000 gold lead right now for the members of Sentinels. They're doing a phenomenal job. But again, for as long as this mid tier 1 stands, the access to the jungle will not be available to Sentinels. And I think so they really want to take it all the way down though. Joy a bit too far ahead. Will eventually move back. On the back of the rhythm of Joy. Using the full combination of electrifying beats as well. It's just giving him a perfect timing, trying to chip them down though. But hold on a second, Mr. Kyo, a bit too far away, a bit too fetched away, will not be able to purify through the damage of Zane. Could not survive through all of that. Tier 1 falls down in mid, but Tier 2 still protected up top. Bottom inhibitor will eventually be chipped down, but I don't think so. They're going to have a big major problem with that. Now, here's the big problem, which right now the members of Rockets are facing. If they try to lock down Joy, then they are missing out on Mr. Kyo and they can't really pick Panda. While on the other end, if they try to prioritize Mr. Kyo, then Joy is just going to run rampage to the backlines. They can't take a full-fledged 5v5 head-on fight. They have to play for picks. And the pick is just like this one as Joy runs down in the back though. Does not catch a break. Will be taken down. The Winter Crown play onto his head. A bit more than what they could chew as again the Curse of Blood used up. Damage being shared right now. The knockup coming in with a bounce of Phobius. But MCN cannot tank any more than that. Mr. Q with a Chrono Dash wanted to chase, but cannot chase in the inhibitor. Still 3 people surviving, and again the holy shield of mid used up. They will be able to take the tier 2 on the top side though as a consolation, and the lead still stays the same. 34,000, while on the other side it's only 30,000. Mr. Kyo, this time, can he survive is the big question. Dashes all the way out through the entire harm's way of Zayn as he wanted to pick up his purple, was eventually taken down. That's not the kind of mistake you would want to make at 11, or rather almost at the 12th minute mark of the game, and Lord is about to spawn. That gives the entire control of the pit to the members of Sentinels, and they are doing a fantastic job right now. Rainy out there, just trying to zone out the rest of the members along with Panda and easy lot pickings as well. No Holy Shield will be available after the 12th minute mark, so the inhibitors will be knocked. A genius wand being picked up so late into the game. Now that's something I don't know. I kind of contradict that. I think so. At this stage of the game, it's better to build a divine glaive. No, that's exact. Hold on a second. I think so. There's the problem where I'm noticing right now. The show has not yet built up any kind of magic defense. Yes, it's understandable that he would want to try and go way of the dragon the other side, but still, I think so. Instead of picking up a dreadnought, they could have changed a few things. Right now, they want to do exactly that as the vengeance, and everything was used up. But that's Carmilla. Z pops the curse of blood, and it's going to be a double kill already, make it an unstoppable for Medani. This seems to be it. We're going to game number 3. If Mr. Q gets another one, tried to go for that, but it still does not matter. At 1 HP, Zayn was able to get 2. But is it enough? Has he done enough? They do not go in for the chase. They were going for the end. But what a Lord dance. What a way to get the Lord in the inhibitor as Zayn will eventually fall. They've still got a few more seconds for the rest of them to pop up as the minions come in, and it will be the crystal by Sentinels. And they force a game number 3. Nothing left to pick apart after the crystal. Lovely game. What a lovely approach. Leaving everything aside, they're like, yeah, we do not care what Zayn is trying to pull out there, but it was such a phenomenal try by MCN to pull the Lord away towards the top inhibitor. But that is the problem. You try to pull the Lord away, the minions are not pulled in your direction. That's a big, big mistake. Wouldn't exactly call it a mistake, though. What happened was again in towards that fight, they tried to pick Panda off. And as soon as they decided to go for that, they just did not have enough damage to try and finish him off. And again, I love the itemization this time from Panda. Dominant size for the first one, goes in for the blade armor. Same thing could be said for Vodka. Dominant size, blade armor, and then also into an anti-cuirass. That means without a Malefic Roar, Arm will not be able to pick apart any of their defenses. Yes, understandable. I know what most of you are going to say. Carry deals true damage. Yes, fair enough. I understand. I agree. But if there's around 200 to 50 physical defense on the other side, and I'm not even counting all the other stacks that they're going to get from maybe the warrior boots that they're making, you have to account for all of that defense because, yes, you've got to still fill up your passive for those true damage stacks. You're still going to deal a few of the basic attacks as well. And I think so, maybe she could have taken the Malefic Roar, could have helped her out a bit more in the open. Overall, it was again falling down to the same fact that Kun was just not able to pick up the right targets, or rather, Sentinels were able to dodge Kun so well that they did not give out their backline out in the open. A couple of times, Mr. Keo picked off, but that's about it. Badani on the eve played absolutely phenomenal. Even TikTok on the Joy was just doing a fantastic job rotating around the map as well. He did exactly what Zayn was doing in the previous game, just a bit more different this time, as TikTok had a bit more of a free reign to try and hop in, hop out as per his own wishes because of the rhythm beats as well as the electrifying beats. So eventually, he was able to play the game on his own pace, and Panda and Vodka were just able to frontline for the front back composition with the Eve that they were trying to run. Both the games over, score 1-1. We are now forced on to the game number 3, ladies and gentlemen. And we jump into the draft just as quickly. And as soon as we jumped into the draft, I've got one of my friends out here hopping in on the Discord as well. I don't know if he's coming in as a savior or maybe he's got a few of his popcorns to try and enjoy that. But Zakota, my boy, how are you doing?
I'm good, scared. How are you? I see these series are really exciting. I mean, man, the plays were really insane, but as you said, that show didn't really get any use of his way of the dragon.
Time to drop the beat
I
of the
was struggling out
flash.
there on that end as well. And I think so. It's as much as it you could say that Kun was maybe not finding that perfect timing
Butterflies
which he
born
needed
by
to.
thy wish.
It also fell down to the fact
My
that
lantern's light.
even Sentinels were able to dodge around that. Right now, though, since in this draft, it's going to be Rockets on the blue side taking on Sentinels on the red side, while the first few bans are Harith as well as Azushin. This time they respect the Harith of Mr. Q, or rather, maybe they just want to put him on an uncomfortable pick.
My
While on
tail's
the
been
other side,
itching for a
Ajoy being
Rin
banned out,
fight.
Hayabusa from game number one still being respected. I think so. This should very well be all right, they banned out a Badang. I thought they're going to ban out the Sicilian. Maybe
The
it's going to be a
immortal
first
one
pick Suyu.
chose me to
Sicilian could have been
vanquish the
anything. Suyu was
shadows
left
that
open as
plague
well.
this
It's going to be a
world.
Suyu. But a Lucas Vovius is open. Or I think so. That could be the best possible pick right now, Zakota, for Sentinels.
I mean, even Fanny is open at the moment from what I see. Fanny Phobius would be a better combo. I think Rusu plays Fanny a lot. So, I mean, it depends. Fanny's still a risky pick in a tournament lobby. We're seeing that Hilda getting picked out a good bruiser for the Suyu. Also could work on Rome, don't you agree? But I feel like she's more stable on the XP.
Yeah, Hilda has been picked up for the EXP itself just because Vodka kind of feels comfortable on that. They're retaining the picks of the previous match, or rather the previous game. So they're going to be keeping them up along with the Eve as well. The real world manipulation was working out really well. But on the other side, since the previous game, I was constantly calling out for it. A high loss this time, maybe can be picked up early on. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be a Sylvana pick. If it's a Sylvana pick, Zakota, I am going to turn on my face camera right now and we'll show it on the stream.
I mean, kudos to them if they pick the Sylvana, but
Make some
I feel,
noise for
yeah, I mean,
Nope.
Mr.
Sis is a good
Still, yeah.
counter to Hilda. Hylos is also a very good pick into the Eve. Still, that constant healing from the Hylos ulti sustain a lot. And there goes the Fanny I was talking about. They need to ban out the counters. They need to. I mean, they already picked the XP. They already picked the roamer. So I don't think that was a smart decision from Team Rocket. Hmm.
Yeah, they've kind of revealed out on the draft a bit. I would agree. And on the other side, Sentinels can just ban out the mid lane right now as they've already picked up the Eve.
I am
But they're still going to
vengeance
focus down a bit more on that
incarnate.
gold lane. I'm pretty much thought that they will ban out maybe a Farsa and a Sicilian because that kind of makes sense as you're running an Eve composition and you don't want the similar range on the other side. But all right, Moscow kind of works around as well. You really do not want any of those nasty spheres of destruction onto their heads. So Garud
Even
Kacha on the
so,
other end, though.
the Fanny can go and counter the Farce, so I
Always on
don't
the
think it's
way.
wise to ban it. The Matilda gets banned auto, which is also a weird ban.
I
Hmm.
agree. Maybe they just kind of don't want to deal with the they just don't want to deal with the Mathilda Suyu combination. You
I mean,
already know the Suyu has a phenomenal movement speed. You don't want to pair it up with the Matilda as well. I think so it's a fair ban.
And hope
yeah,
As
are
even
the two
so, the
greatest
Fanny, I mean, the
inventions.
Suyu could have worked with Matilda in the mid, and the side being Sisi as well, so I don't think it was gonna be that bad. Matilda mid-rom high-loss, XP lane Sisi. I think that was the idea they're trying to go for the Matilda ban.
yeah, maybe yeah, but hold on, we're gonna still see a carry this time being denied by Mr. Kyo. Now this is interesting because the Granger is still up for grabs. If you really want, you can try and pick that one off for yourself. And again, in order to counter a Eve, if you really want to counter it, you can. Bruno is one way to go, but I don't think so. It counters the Eve. I think so. Claude could have been a better pick in that sense, but at the same time, there's a Fanny on the other side, so you'd have to be worried about that. Plus, I think so. Claude would still work out pretty well because you've got a high loss who's going to dive in, you've got a Suyo who's going to dive in. It's more of a dive in composition rather than the one that can stand and protect you on its own, though it's still going to be a Faramis logged in. We saw this thing picked up in game
To
number one,
live is to
worked out
trick the
decently. Did
Reaper.
I think so? We saw the Faramis pick from the side of Sentinels in game one, and it did not work out. So this Faramis pick is having a 0% win rate in this evening.
I mean, even so, Faramis is rising in popularity in multiple tournaments. And they were lacking a bit of late game, so I think that's why they picked out the Bruno. They had the Suyu early game, CC early game, Hylos early game, but they didn't have anything for the late game. And I think that's what the idea was for the Bruno. The Granger would have worked, but still, he wouldn't have any tower push.
I
Ooh,
think
Bellery.
so. I mean, uh, a Belleric. If it was a ranked game, I would have been crying in the corner because I play a gold lane. If I see a Belleric on the other side along with a carry and an Eve, I am already throwing my phone away. Not literally though, on probably a blanket or something. Don't want to break it.
I mean, the Belleric here works into the Faramis ultimate. You can just go in right off the Dryad, pull them all in. Even with the Faramis, at least bait it out. I think that's a
Yeah, and
pretty good pick.
I think so. In that sense, yes, I agree. But at the same time, I personally do not like the Faramis pick already into an Eve composition on the other side. When you know that there's going to be a lot of AoE damage, plus even the Fanny is going to be running bonkers on your head. You don't want to give those additional prey marks to Fanny to get some extra energy back. But at the same time, the draft is set in stone, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, we're going to be moving in the game number 3 in the Land of Dawn for the IESF WEC 2025 MLBB Romanian qualifiers. This is the game 3 of the semi-finals, and it is going to be Rockets on the blue side taking on Sentinels on the red side. 1-1 on the scoreboard as we go in directly onto the purple as well as the orange buff. So both the junglers this time are going to prioritize the gold lane.
I mean, I can see why the Fanny would go for the red. She needs that extra buff, the blue buff, longer, so she can just rotate a bit more, help maybe in the top lane with an early gank. First gang bot, then go top, then go mid, and I think that's a wise decision. Also, the turtle being top lane would help her as well with the clear. Start red, get your red again, get level 5. I mean, it can work. But
I kind of agree, but it's gonna be a pretty boring matchup out there in the EXP lane though. Purify though early pick off already, but it's still gonna be the yo-yo assault. Not really enough. The region popped on by Vodka is gonna be having a fun time out there constantly. We don't really see a CC being poked out by a Hilda, but guess what? We're aware of her surprises today evening.
I mean, the Sissy didn't use her Vengeance, so I guess it's understandable from why she took so much damage. But it's a revitalized for nothing from the Sissy, so I think that's a very good trade-off. It like baits out a gank, honestly.
Indeed, that is the case.
Mm,
Just a few early items being picked up, nothing out of the ordinary though. But this time again, here's the thing, if since the Hylos is playing in the roam position, I would really not want to see him in a Thunder build, but rather some solid defense items. But in terms of the solid, the seal cables are, but the vengeance is even better right now. Bait for the fort. You could chew. Rusu taken down right before the turtle spawned, and you do not want to give this early lead to a Suyu jungle on the other side. That is a big misplay.
See, that was the idea of the Sissy. Bait out, revitalize, keep her Vengeance, just in case of the Fanny ganking. Like, that was the idea. Where they gave the info of Hilda using Revitalize. So that was a pretty free gang for the Fanny, if no Vengeance. I think they communicated that well. Even
Seems
so,
like
we're
that.
seeing some movement towards the bot lane. The Hylos Faram is going a bit slowly, creeping around. Hylos still doesn't have his pathway. I mean, it's a pretty even matchup, the carry and the Bruno, honestly. Both of them have a bit more damage in the mid game, and in the late game, there's a big difference with the Bruno having that malefic gun. Hmm.
That's the best part about a Bruno, right? You have to prioritize the Malefic gun early on, and that gives you an extra bit of range. And I think so it's gonna work out pretty well in the cases where you've got an Eve on the other side, as well as you can try and outrange Mr. Kyo in terms of the damage as well as you'll be just standing all the way back,
I agree with you,
shooting
but
those footballs at him.
even so, the biggest
Yeah, I had to.
advantage Team Sentinel has
Yeah,
that funny. They just need to take advantage of that early game dominance. Hmm. If they have the better good team fight, synergy. They have the funny to go for the backline, but I don't know if funny could really go for except the Faramis.
yeah, they can try and maybe bait out an early nether realms so that things get easy in terms of those fights. Now, here's the thing, in terms of the rotation as well, in terms of trying to really find aggressive plays all around the map, a Fanny is pretty good. But if you're hopping in front of Kun, who's on a high low, so can just law in order and stun you, keep you in place, That's where I think a few of those problems begin. 3 more seconds for his purple buff to hop on, and I think so that's the worst timing because the turtle is up right now, and the hunter strike being picked up along with the Haas claw for the first item early on. That is already giving a decent amount of snowballish effect to the members of Rocket. Retribution battle, maybe? Are we gonna have that? Is the big question. MCN though, quickly with the yo-yo blades! Along with the blade surge with Zayn, were able to take down the Fanny, and on the back of it, they will probably steal away the blue. No! That is interesting, Zakota. They let the blue buff go.
I mean, I don't think they want to risk an invade. The carry is there, the Eve is there, Full HP, the Belleric is there with the Wrath of the Dread. I think they just wanted to go for maybe a quick steal. You know, it's a free objective, Fanny died, she's already under-farmed, so I don't think it was that big of a risk. But I think the mid needs to get farmed up a little bit more. Then, when the Eve gets her first item, they get activated and they could go for team fights.
Probably, and that's exactly what's happening right now in the bottom lane. As again, it's the free auto attacks of carry, not the perfect place. The flicker being baited out by the Bruno. We will eventually go in for his football attacks. The way of the world already used up. Is it still going to be another pick? The real world manipulation dropped in. An HP of just a slither is what remains in the hands of Kunas, who will run away and try to survive. A lovely stun in between the steel cable. It just blows your mind. How could Zayn land that? And it probably saved the life of Kuhn out there, and including Arm. They're gonna now force all of the recalls.
I mean, man, that was so unfortunate for the family. The Sui was charging up his stun at the second Fanny wanted to go in. The timing must have sucked. Even so, the Fanny didn't use her ultimate. She could have maybe went for the Bruno on the tier 1 turrets. I mean, tier 3 turrets.
Yeah, again, that falls down to the same thing, right? You wanted to go for either one of those targets, and that's when you see a blade right on top of your head. In one of those moments where just Zoro puts up a blade onto the throat of Luffy when he was just trying to be stupid. He always tries to be stupid.
I mean, I would call it down to bad timing either way, but no vision on those bushes in the bot lane. They had more advantage than Suyu being there, so more vision equals better teamfight potential. Even so, we're seeing the Suyu moving up to the bot lane carries a bit playing safe. Better moving towards the triple bush.
No, rather Riot. We're still waiting on the back of it. It will be used up, but it's a bit too late for him. Not being able to survive out there. Now, here's the big thing, right? Panda is actually running with the flicker. He does not have it revitalized, so he can't really sustain through all of that damage. The third turtle now being secured as well by Zane, so he's just bursting down the other side in an instant. Oh, nah, my man. This is the first time I'm actually seeing a Fanny run away from all of that commotion through the jungle as Zane just pushes back all the people along with Sun. They're able to take down the mid tier 1 too. That gives them the access to the blue buff of the Fanny jungle. But right now, seems like they've probably stepped into the grounds they should not have. But the Nether Realms in the last second! They're able to turn it all around on top of the head of Rusu. This is such a phenomenal outplay. Rocket are just not stopping.
And they're on a snowball effect. The Bruno losing the tier 3 in the bottom, but he also trades it for the middle one and the bottom one as well after that team fight concluded in the mid. They lost all liver control for the blue buff, so Fanny is getting primed and ready to get invaded. Nothing much she can do. They have the Hylos, they have the CC. She can only pray that she can maybe get a lucky retribution on that blue buff. I mean, that's her only lifeline, right?
Absolutely. Oh, Zane. Just finding a timing. Oh, tries to go in, but Russo just being a bit too smart out there. Retribution on time still will secure his own buff, but maybe not the life of the Belleric out there in the open. A constant spam of the Netherlands just kept them all alive through all of that as they picked them apart one after the other. Nothing was enough as Mr. Q was just not in that fight. They did not have enough damage, and I kid you not, Zakota. Had Mr. Q been there, this could have been a maniac for him.
I mean, even so, he traded that team fight for a tier 2 bot lane turret. As I agree with you, if he was in the team fight, he could have done a little bit more. But even so, he maybe risked dying and losing the bounty he has on himself. I mean, that's even a worse trade. Lord on 9,000 HP finally has no way to get in on the distribution. Carry in the
Yep.
top lane, pushing that wave, shoving as much as possible. She knows she's renowned there. She has a free access to the turret. I mean, that's her only lifeline. Fanny has to start split pushing a bit as well. And that's why most people pick Fanny in pro play just for that split pushing potential, that rotation control. But they're getting
Now, here's the thing. Yeah, and here's also the thing, right? I agree to the fact where Fanny's supposed to split push, but that is just not the playstyle of Rusu. That is the big thing. He has constantly been playing in the close range, while Mr. Q is the one who actually goes to the far lane and clears that out. And I think so that has also basically impacted their team fight potential in general. No farm right now being offered. Zen, who's almost level 15 to only a level 12. Fanny is a big thing right now. They're going to try and barge into the mid lane as the Lord charges it down. The Yo-Yo Blitz on the back. Just trying to deal a bit of a poke damage out there, but on their faces is Vodka, who's probably lacking some of that Vodka power. So eventually will have to move back though, but maybe it's another Ren very early on popped up. That means they want to go in for the dive itself as they get one. But in the back line is where Hilda wanted to thrive, but will not survive. The real world manipulation dropped in, which does not make any kind of difference. The mid tier 2 has fallen, and it's down to the inhibitors in mid and bot.
I mean, the Beleric used Wrath of the Giant, baked out another realm early, but after that they couldn't do anything else. The carry was playing a bit too passively. She lost her bruiser frontliner, the Hilda, and nothing much she can do. As we say that, the Fanny gets picked out in the top lane. Very big loss for Team Sentinels. Bruno in the 1v1 versus the carry. He flickers, both of them
Holy
flicker, not
smokes.
enough. Never mind, the carry did not flicker, just the Bruno. Curious. I mean, not much you
It
can do
just
now.
feels, that yeah, you can't do much against that Bruno itself. It's just those a couple of big energy balls are enough to take you down. I do not even want to say it in that way, but there's the real world manipulation. Now eventually trying to clear out the wave as the Wrath of Brad lands in perfectly on the back of it. There's the Nether Realms trying to help the team survive. It's a godlike in the hands of the Bruno. How dare I say that it might not be good. As it's still Zen picking the pieces apart. Oh, a lot of cables out there though. Eventually, Russo will have to jump back. Can't really stay there. Can't really survive. Can't really clear out the way. They've already lost the carry, or rather, the carry is the only one who's still remaining. They've lost both of their frontliners as well as their mid inhibitor. They need to keep the bottom one out to survive. Otherwise, the far lane, or rather, the close lane will eventually push up. You
I
don't
mean,
want those mega minions on the side lanes.
not much Fanny could do besides Riku. She tried to slow that mid wave down, but still no luck. It was a 3 against 1. The mini wave shoved a bit, they lost that mid lane turret, and now I think they're losing their footing on the Lord fight, Lord dance. The Beleric is trying to give out vision, they don't know where Arian is. As is showing herself, a lot of aggressive play. Russo in the top lane, look trying to pick off Zane. No luck. Maybe they're gonna get that inhibitor turret. But Team Rocket is moving towards that. In the top lane, there's a fight currently going on. CC poking out the Fanny.
Yeah.
Zane made carry low as well. Not much they can do. The carry went in the base, just trying to waste time. The Bruno is in the bot lane as we speak, trying to shove away. Zane jumps in,
Oh
gets
my
the
god.
unstoppable on carry.
Yeah, I think so. If this keeps on going on, this might actually be over right now.
I mean,
Again, it's already in towards that late game stages, and your Bruno has scaled up phenomenally well. Not even dying one time. It's already on a legendary. You can't really pick all of it apart right now. Oh my goodness, what a nasty pull on Panda, and him being forced to use out the flicker is the big problem, as there's not going to be any kind of surprise. And hold on, Did they also use the revitalize? I think so. That's a bit of a problem out there because now you don't have either of those spells available for the main fight. Though still, the same could be said for the Nether Realms. I'm gonna have a quick look at the items, but I don't think so. I'm gonna get that time. As again, the real world manipulation drops on. They still want to try and catch all of them. The Wind of Nature being picked up by Mr. Q, who goes in for a double kill, make it a triple as well. They tried to fight a bit more than what they could chew. And engage that was forced out aggressively. Should be another pick by the cutthroat, and it is. The
Man,
side of Sentinel survive.
what a turnaround from the carry and the Belleric, that Wrath of the Dryad in the real world manipulation really changed that team fight there. They defended extremely well. I mean, what else could I have done better? Team Rocket. I mean, they backed out the flicker from Belleric, but even so, look at the carry, so aggressive. They don't know that they don't have the Nether realm there, so they're playing as aggressive as they can. They were at the man advantage, now everything is back to being equal. Can we see the items, please?
Pretty sure we can already. It's a glowing wand already into the Ice Queen wand along with the Divine Glaive being picked up. So that's going to give them a bit of a leeway in terms of the damage a bit as well. But it's again all the way over towards the top.
They're
That's
trying to
where the
pick up the
problem
Fanny a
constantly
lot.
is.
Yeah, I mean, they're
Yeah.
shocking the wave a lot. The Fanny is playing a bit too open for my liking. Just go in, clear as fast as possible, run away as fast as you can. He's doing as best as he can, but he's gonna get picked off if he keeps playing that much. No visibility on the enemies. But even so, the Eve is getting in a fire now. She's getting killed by Zane. Monster kill. Man, they have a wave going in. Miskio may be able to defend that. Even so, the Hilda and Belleric are getting poked out a bit. Fanny in the top lane, shoving a bit of the wave. Zane is recanning back there. I think that's a really good bait from the Fanny. And the Lord is about to spawn in about 40 seconds. Everyone is gonna be alive by then. So it's gonna be again equal footings. They just need to get a
Yeah.
pick
And
up before that.
hold on. Right now, again, a lot of ultimates being used up along with the Wrath of Dryads, as maybe Nether Realms can help them survive for a bit long. But again, the curtains call onto a couple of those players will eventually pull Vodka out of the safety net and will finish him off for low HP onto both carry as well as the Fanny, but they still survive a 1-for-1 trade. But it's an EXP for a gold lane. So I think so that trade is going down in favor of Sentinels.
But that curtain call was really nasty, just sticking them together, both of them going opposite directions, not moving at all. The tug of war right there. But as you said, the goal laners trading for next villain, I think Sentinel did win that trade. But even so, they have map advantage. He saw the carry going in the bush. He still has Wind of Nature, I believe. Fanny though, I mean, Fanny just has to keep pressuring waves, right? That's her biggest plan right now. After I rotate back that Lord, try to get a pick off, but even taking off a pick off, Miskio falls down at the hands of the Faramis. That was really, really bad for Team Sentinels. They're taking the Lord right now. Bruno, I mean, they're not melding it as fast as I would like. They don't know where the Fanny is. She's recalling. Now they're bursting it properly down. No retribution used. The blue of the Fanny is still up, but I don't think Fanny will go for it, thinking it's a bit too risky. I mean, as soon as Miskio died, they knew they couldn't contest that Lord, right? That's the bare minimum. They just have to play safe,
Yep.
wait for Miskio to back up. Belleric, Rato Dryad get at least 2 stands, beta the net around first, and that's game over if they get a wipeout.
Oh, hold on a second though. The Blade Surge. Almost enough to maybe take that Fanny down, but not quite yet. Probably has already thrown in an anti-Curious out there in the mix in terms of the itemization though. But for now, the Lord marching down from the mid perfectly stable waves from all of the three lanes. Well managed out there. Now they're going to try and make this full fight with the real world manipulation dropped in along with the Nether Realms. They do not have enough damage as it's going to be armed, picking them off, cutting them apart with a triple kill already. Maybe could have a maniac, though they do not care as the crystal was wide open. And they will take the game number 3 and move forward in the finals with a 2-1 scoreline. It's Team Rocket.
Man, that was such an exciting game, but even so, the Fanny didn't have a lot of sustenance. Not much he could have done in that scenario. She was always getting picked out, always getting found out by the Suyo or the CC, always there sometimes. The carry, however, managed to split push a lot. She got a very good base defense in, but not much you can do, right? They're over leveled, they have a better frontliner. Belleric compared to the Hylos, it's, you know, just a draft difference, I believe.
It was a big draft difference, and in terms of the micro plays as well, I'll have to say though, because again, first of all, I was not a big fan of the Belleric pick in general because, yes, I understand. There's a few things that you can probably do, but at the same time, I just don't feel he's got enough to try and catch all the sly members on the other side. Plus, with the flicker, if you're running, yes, I understand the surprise factor, but it still falls down to the fact that you're face tanking and trying to frontline every bit of damage from the other side. And that too against a snowballing Bruno. Yeah, good luck sustaining through all of that. But in general, I would have to say, MCN was playing a phenomenal game in this one. He's going unnoticed, but the way how he constantly put those curtain calls out there, they were so very good that it was constantly catching at least two or three people who were forced to stay together and could not run away in different directions. That gave a bit of an opening to the members of Rockets to pick them both apart. While on the other side, yes, there were some opportunities where we saw Sentinels winning out a couple of fights as well over towards that end when the second Lord was marching all the way down. They were able to win out a couple of important fights, but they could not transition it into any big major win in terms of the game itself. But all in all, a pretty solid game though. I wanted to see a couple of Twilight armors because that is the counter item for Bruno, but just not seeing that there, yeah, it kind of breaks my heart. But I'm pretty sure that we're now going to be heading on to a very short break, ladies and gentlemen, as we will be back with the grand finals of the IESF WEC 2025 MLBB Romanian qualifiers. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned.
And we're back with semifinals number two between Teeny Bamboo Cell and Roaring Forties. I mean, a pretty even matchup, I would say. I've seen a lot of Teeny Bamboo Cell, but I haven't seen a bit of Roaring Forties. So I don't know how that will go, but I am excited to see what will happen. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm expecting it to go to maybe a best of three. What about you,
You
Scared?
don't know the power
You
of
want my
the dark side.
expectations or do you want to know what I wish for?
What you wish for? Let's hear it.
Yeah, it's still the same thing. Bro, I really want to see it go all the way to the third game, though. But what the heck is that DP, my man? Zakota, explain.
Nothing to be explained right there. It's just pure. It's that's malice right there. It reminds me of my idol Kid Bombo, so that's why I keep it. Every time I look at it, I get better. So I've got a lot of confidence, but I think we're going to start in about 2 minutes. We're just getting ready for the people to accept, and I'm excited about this game. Honestly, what about you, Scared? Be honest about it. Are you excited?
I really want to say an honest answer, but at this point, if I say it, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get cancelled, which I don't really want to.
Go
But
for it.
yes,
Go for it.
I'm
Go.
all the jokes apart, my man. All the jokes apart, I am enjoying it. To be very honest, that first game itself, or the first matchup, was absolutely fantastic. I had so much fun casting that one specifically, just because of the fact how there were just so many picks which were directly all the way down to the meta picks and the meta compositions that we see in those MPL leagues, right? And again in the pro play. So yeah, I was absolutely having a fun time out there. Now all the players are already ready. It's going to be Bamboozle up against Roaring Forties. I'm not really sure how to pronounce the teeny ye. I think so. That's Romanian, is it not?
It is not Romanian. It's just teeny bamboo set. That's it.
So why have they written it as teeny ye Bamboozle?
I don't know, man, but it's a funny
That
name.
uh, yeah, it's basically the spelling that normally happens when you select the default language of your phone as Dutch. So the camera is not with a Camera, it's Kamera.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah, it's actually
actually
funny.
funny.
Try and do that.
I mean, maybe it's a new trend, like when they use TZ in their name, like Wicked TZ or Carl TZ. It's just like maybe a new
Eh,
moniker, I guess.
Tell me one player who named themselves as Wicked TZ in pro play. Where have you heard that?
I have a picture of Wicked. You know Wicked from Mech, right? The MVP finals. Wicked.
All right,
His
all right,
name
all right. Fair enough.
was Wicked TZ.
You, you, I don't know if you dodged a bullet out there or you're just making it all up along the way, but man, I'm gonna hand it over to you. You, you did a phenomenal job into dodging this one bullet, though. I'll have to hand it over, man. Zakota. You can probably star in the Matrix if it was not for Keanu Reeves to be there. But for all of that, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be kept aside as we now move into the drafting phase itself. It's going to be Bamboozle on the blue side,
That
taking
feels
on
vintage and feels
Roaring
real
40s
spicy.
on the red side. I'm still 13 more, 15 more years away from turning into 40.
Yeah, right.
Magic is my
Anyway,
life.
on the blue team, we have the Sicilian number 3 player. I think the global number 3 Sicilians. I expect the ban to be for him, Skylove, very good Sicilian player. He plays good on Valentin as well, from what I saw, but I mean, still, you have to respect that Sicilian ban. And ironically, what else could they focus? I think the Hanzo, so Danzo is the Hanzo player. Very funny, rhymes. And what
No
else
one
could
can
they ban?
escape
I
my
know
iron fist.
Nikki is very nasty on that carry, so I think those are the bans they're looking for.
Hmm. Seems like yeah, I think so. I mean, to be honest, if you're really banning out the carry, maybe there's a still few more picks that are up on the table that you can really. keep for yourselves. Had being banned out, it's something I kind of like. Akelia and the Badang on the other side. Fair enough. Decent bans. A Hayabusa right now. So that means Roaring Forties will eventually prioritize the Zushin now for the third ban. That gives a lot of picks to be picked up to the side of Bamboozle. I think so they can ban out either a Joy or a Suyu and then force a Zushin ban from the other side to pick up the other one and have the priority in the jungle, or maybe there's a Lucas open as
I am
well
not
across
the
the
only
board. So
one
that's something
bound
you can
by
keep
its
in your pocket too, but
chains.
they're gonna prioritize the Fovius ban. That means still looking
Always on
forward
the
for that E
way.
experience. It's a
Your
still
team
Mathilda ban
lead.
though. A Zushin left open for the first time after a long while. Yeah, I mean Louis over a Zushin, yeah, that's
I mean,
confusing.
personally, Juxin fell out of the meta. She's
The
too
Immortal
weak
One
now.
chose me to
Not
vanquish the
that much she can do. You
shadows
get
that
one
plague this
mobility
world.
jungler and she's toast for all we know. Their better mage picks the Valentina is better into a Lucas and maybe into a Kalea. The Aurora is better for team fights potential. I mean, Loi, better rotations. And as I said, the Sicilian because just a lot of damage in the late game. After 300 stacks, you can basically two-shot anything you want. But
And I agree.
another pick,
Only love
oh,
and
the Sicilian
night
goes there.
are
Another
everlasting.
thing would be the Lunox that wasn't peak recently at all. And she has a lot of teamfight potential, even Lord melding capabilities like the editing. It's
Let's hear from the
it's fun
crowd.
to see these drafts
Make
if they
some
pick
noise for
something
yours
out of the
truly.
ordinary, maybe a Xavier. But I don't know if that will
Why
happen.
do you why why do you keep on reminding me of my own ranked games, my man? Picks
Qualifiers.
like Xavier, like holy smokes, I don't want to relive those
No
nightmares
one can
because I'm the kind
resist
of guy
my
who's more
charm,
into like,
not
yeah,
even
you
my
can't end on a
enemies.
loss. So I go for a lose streak and then I lose my sleep. So next day when I'm going to the office, I am absolutely dead in
I
the
mean,
eye,
that's the
just like in the
spirit right
previous few
there.
games.
That's the grind. You have to lose.
My
to win.
light has
Fight for the
blazed
ultimate
across
answer.
I
Yeah,
mean,
the thing about that
realms.
grind, Zakota, is the fact that you are supposed to rank up, not rank down. But all right, I'm gonna keep all my rankings aside right now. It's gonna be a Granger logged in along with a Hilda though. So a Hilda up against a CC. Fair enough matchup. CC is gonna try and poke you down while you move back into the bush and heal all the way back up right now. Maybe it's a good time to pick up a Joy for their side because there's a Suyu already being picked up by Bamboozle.
I
But
am
they're gonna try and
vengeance
all right. They prioritize on
incarnate.
Moscow. You know what? I'm actually on for that because the Granger was picked up. I had it panned out, so the Moscow is the next best pick in the scenario. You lock it in right away, and now you can try and choke down a bit more onto the mage pool. Maybe ban away a Farsa, maybe ban away the Eves, so that the Sicilian has the advantage in the range.
the only thing I disagree about is that the Irrital was open, and that's a direct counter to the Granger.
Oh, I
That
agree.
would have been a better priority pick over the Moscow. Also into the Hilda. I mean, Moscow has one dash,
Who
but the
said there are
Irrital
no
can just
shortcuts
flat
in
out
life?
run away. She can
I
just
literally
drive away her
invented
bike.
one.
Chip getting banned out, losing the team fight potential, but even so, you can never judge out a Hilda out of their own positioning.
I mean, it still falls down to the same
Sir,
fact right now. In
what's your
terms of the
command?
roam, there are two main
Banned.
categories where you pick it. The first one is either you've got a decent amount of CC and a big chunkiness, or you are probably running a support roam, the utility roam, or like a healer, maybe a Florin, maybe a Mathilda. So Hilda kind of does not fit in any of those categories. That's why you're kind of more leaning into a Hilda in that EXP lane. Though I'm not gonna say it's a major pick. It's still something that is out of a surprise, maybe a pocket pick or something like that. So, but all right, since they've already logged it in now,
Butterflies born
both the
by my
sides have got one
wish.
kind of priority to
Guided
ban out at
by
least one
lantern flight.
of the specific lanes. But with 40s, they have banned away a chip, a Zushin, trying to lower down that roam pool as well. And I kind of like the idea because on a Moscow, yes, you've got a dash of the skill one, but apart from that, you do not have any major mobility skills to try and create that gap. So as soon as you use that,
Time to
a
drop
chip
the
can quickly hop in on your
BF1
face and
position.
use that portal unless you're running with a flicker, which cannot be the case right now. You've got to run with a purify given the held out on the other side, and maybe the next couple of picks, which are going to be a bit more leaning into the crowd control as well. I think so. Lucas is the best possible option to be picked up in the jungle place, or maybe if you want to lean a bit more towards the true damage than an alpha.
I mean, I have to disagree with that. Lucas needs a support type roamer to flourish, but they lack the CC on Team 40s. They don't have anything to help, but there goes the Hylos. I think they're gonna go for a alpha, as you said. You know, denies that Hilda, denies that Suyu. But I mean, that's left out to see. I mean, I'm hoping for maybe a Minotaur Tigreal rumor here. It looks really nice. Into the Moscow Sicilian combo. Bait out that Purify with the Hilda, then go for the Tigreal, you know? Bro, that would be a very nasty set. And on the mid lane, what could I go? Maybe Aurora or Luo. And both of them are open, both of them are
Hmm.
really good. The classic Nana pick, no way. The Cyclops could actually
Imagine that
maybe work.
big horse being morphed down to a cat.
It would be pretty cute, actually, you know. But
This time.
there's the Zafgar I was talking about. I'm telling you.
The hunter of all the evil gods.
And
How
edit as well.
did you predict that?
I'm just too good, man. I'm just too good. If they pick the Aulus,
N-
I'm gonna give the jungler
Nah,
$10.
you you're gonna give a what?
€10 if he goes Aulus. I don't
I
think he's gonna
just
go Aulus.
deleted my PayPal.
Not you. I'm gonna give the jungler.
Why?
You know,
It's divided 5 and 5. Give me €5. Give €5
five
to the
and
jungler. All right, it's not gonna be the case.
yeah,
I still deserve the €5 for predicting a Lucas pick.
yeah, but I deserve a bit more for predicting that Xavier. Come on now.
Then
Even
perfect
so,
play. You give yourself €5, give me €4. Done. Perfect deal. Thank you so much, Zagot. I love that. But all right, that's kind of it for all those predictions. Now make your prediction. Who do you think is actually gonna win? Is it going to be Bamboozle or is it gonna be 40s?
Bamboozle, 100%. The Hylos with the Vengeance is a bit of a nasty pick. I would expect to revitalize instead. The Lucas, as I said, has no support, nothing that can offer him like something to keep going or go out. The Hylos is revitalized, maybe have void, but I really doubt it. They have really one stand there. Hmm. I mean, Team Bamboozle has early game, late game, mid game. I don't know about Team 40s though. That's like one of the biggest things.
Yep. And now they're going to prove themselves on this big stage as well, as it is the second semifinals, ladies and gentlemen. Another best of three to see who is going to match up against the winners of the previous series. Will it be 40s who are on the red side, or will it be Bamboozle who are on the blue side? Let's see who gets the win, as both of them start from the southern part of the map on their own orange and purple buff to move all the way up towards the blue top side.
I mean, who do you have on winning the early game? I mean, they have the three, but they also have the Lucas, which has that very dangerous ult. I mean, level 3 Lucas stronger than a level 4. I mean, level 3 Studio stronger than level 4 Lucas, in my opinion. Because of that dash that basically makes you immune to everything if you time it well enough. But even so, look at mid lane, the Sicilian 1 HP force use the flicker. The Xavier poking him out. Danzi poking out the Hylos, forcing out the Vengeance stand upon him and first blood
Oh,
towards Teeny Bamboo Cell. Man.
never did I
Oh
never did I
no.
really think I'm actually gonna see a high loss be running away from that scenario. But right now, oh my goodness, my man, all the way with that Chinese or maybe a Japanese font, and call me racist, was able to survive through all of that with that flicker play. And this is exactly what I mentioned all the way back in draft itself, right? That we will probably see the Moscow run on the flicker too. Otherwise, he will not just have enough utility to survive through the onslaught.
I mean, the Purify would have worked as well, but as you said, the Flicker is just better. But even so, the Sapphire tried to go for a dash and everyone went after that guy. Simply Love, 3 people on him. The cat is going to use his Sacred Beast Bomb and he's gonna turn him down. typing is gonna type on Simply Love Scrape, a lovely message. But even so, the Hylos getting
Oh,
poked out, Eddie with a knockup, big kill on the enemy roamer. Vengeance was not available at the time. But man, that was really brutal for the Hilda. Top lane
oh
though.
my goodness. Exactly. It's going to be another pick by Uma. Deleting the Moscow on the other side, and at the same time, it's going to be Monster Tube picked off all towards the blue right now. Typing cannot really type anything as he'll be deleted. Nothing's going to be accepted out of there as it's a phenomenal snowball effect right now by Danzi. Switched it
What
for the
could
knee
have done there?
pronunciation.
Not much you can do there, but the Xavier aggressiveness is really good. It just always is in their faces, is not scared whatsoever. That big AoE stand from his skill 2 and skill 1 bro. It's just brutal. 1.2-second immobilization. Not much they can do there with no purifies. Two vengeances. The Hylos don't have the revitalize, help to sustain in a team fight. A lot of pressure upon the top lane. Ellie
Yeah.
goes to
Oh,
the tower. Spear of
yeah.
Destruction misses. Unlucky again. The flicker. Edit though with a knockup, taking down the life of Moscow. Typing, trying to save the turret, but no luck. Ranger managed to put up in the mid
Oh,
lane. The Sicilian falls at the hands of Skylove.
no Carmilla to save him this time. You with the vengeance as well as the glorious pathway moves into the hammer of Simply Lovely, and the way he just collects that kill is simply lovely as Bosco being zoned out from the top lane. Just can't do anything, and I think so he's probably really missing the Erethiel pick right now. Maybe that counter right now, but then Z, oh my goodness, he needs to run away on the back of the Yo-Yo Blitz with the support of Skylove. He'll be able to survive out there, but Monster Tuber flickers in the wrong direction. That's a big mishap, but he still makes it work somehow. As the bat's impact was enough, as they want to chase even a bit more, then maybe what they could chew. No way for Saki to survive. Eventually will be taken down as Uma will not be able to stand tall either ways.
Man, I don't think that was the missed abuse of flicker. The Sicilian I think was just too smart. The Hilda was expecting the Sicilian to flicker in the turret where she could chase him, but he went the other way. I mean, I think that's just smart, no? What if it's just big brain and we're just a bit, slow? But even so, the Hilda melting down the CC, not enough damage from the Xavier. He missed his ultimate. I mean, that was really sad. Moscow in the bot lane. Lucas in the top lane, maybe going to clear that fat wave right there. A lot of poke coming from the Hilda. Vengeance getting popped out by the high loss. Again, Moscow right 1 HP. Sicilian as well on 1 3 HP. The Xavier gets him to shut down a big ultimate towards the Moscow. Hylos also falls down. The Ed is going to take that lizard away from the Lucas. No cat food for you, little bro. But even so, that was a really popping trade. They got the Vengeance
You know,
Fire
if you
Flicker.
i- i- if you consider one second, we'll be hopping onto that conversation in a second though, but the mid lane facing a bit of an action out there and towards the top as well. Oh my goodness! Yeah, you dodged away the dawning light, but you still could not dodge away the arrows fired by Arjun out there on top. It was then Z picking up another one of those skills onto typing. Uh, I kind of wanted to ask a very rhetorical question, but I'm not just going to do that. I'm going to let it slide right now as again over towards the bot. CC still trying to survive. Maybe the example is not enough that you can't really stand in the tower right now. What a lovely zone by Saki on that Edith, though. Maybe moving it a bit more. Maybe moving it a bit close as it's not going to be one, but rather two. Love will fall as well, getting caught in the curtains call was the main downfall of the guy right now typing no more Kamehameha available as Uma just takes away the go crab in front of him.
But even so, I think Dance got a tower ability in the top lane. 6 minutes in, they lost almost an inhibitor. They lost 2 tier 2 turrets. They have one standing in the mid lane. Dance is going for that turtle advantage. Moscow's walking to base. The walk of shame right there. Nick is trying to force out the turret ability, which he manages to do. I think at minute 10 we're going to see a game end. Just by the snowball effect we're seeing right here. A lot of damage coming from the Xavier. One
Oh,
counter
conceal.
per ultimate.
Conceal play. Simply lovely. Wants to jump back though, but push back again by the spear. Saving the life potentially of Monster Tube out there. He's still playing with fire. My man needs to just move back. They're still trying to survive for as long as possible, as the Holy Shield will eventually fall. Maybe not though. They cleared the wave at the right time. That is just perfect right now from the side of 40s. They are barely surviving, just like the name that they've got right now. And the people in the 40s, they barely survive. Yeah, I can relate to that as well. But the Holy Shield will eventually fall all the way in mid lane as the minions moving in all the way from bot as well as top. They're gonna crash in onto the towers though. In the meantime, look at the amount of burst, the damage out there. Simply lovely will move back, but the stun is perfect, and then Z drops in at the perfect time to finish another one off Monster Tuber with a slither of HP. Will eventually survive by moving into the tower. It's all down to Saki, who's just constantly zoning them out, maybe praying for the survival of his zone as again we're gonna look it up close and personal. They are taking down the mid inhib as well.
The bot lane turret's about to fall as well. They're just going to be able to defend that. The CC going to kill the minions. The lore is about to fall in 34 seconds. Glorious pathway down. Nikki is on his way to die. He just dodged that beast bomb by a hair. A big dawning light coming in from the Xavier. Nikki just walked away in that scenario. Just dodged that beast bomb. Sasuke just teleported forward. You know, I mean, not much you can do there, right? Granger has so much mobility with just one dash skill. The ultimate giving him a dash, his skill 2, and the flicker. I mean, how can you not dodge something? Monster Kill coming into Danzo though, on that CC, not much they can do. Moscow's trying to split push, but the Granger is there to deny it. Skylo helping the Suyu clear, getting stacks, farming that ability. Flicker coming in, Rose Gold Meteor ability as well. Skylove just barely misses the ultimate. And Danzo slays the Lord 9 minutes and 17 seconds in. In the top lane, we're seeing a
They're
conceived
gonna
start.
just yeah, they're gonna just delete typing all the way in top lane. Did not allow him to survive whatsoever. There's still 5 more seconds for another wave to spawn. Eventually, they should be able to clear it as typing will be back in a while though. Monster Tuber does not even have a damage right now because the man just reached level 10 and it's so hard for a Cecilion. I'm pretty sure he does not have enough stacks right now. A decent amount of chick damage right now. On to the Moscow, though he just gets obliterated. A big knockoff with the flicker as he shatters the earth beneath them. But it's still typing, catching a couple of players, which does not matter as the Z will eventually finish them off. It's a 3 for 0, or rather 3 for 1 trade, but make it a game for 1 trade as the crystal will break and the game 1 will go for Bamboozle.
What an exciting first game. A lot of early lane dominance coming in from Teeny Bamboozle. I mean, what can you do? The Lord was sieging team emerged, all three waves to sync at the same time. I mean, even if he defended that first way, I don't think they could have held out for a second on coming in with a Lord. Danzo was already level 15. Nikki was closely following behind at level 13. I mean, what else could you do? In that scenario, nothing else, right?
10-minute game probably. And yes, it is the fastest game that we have seen. You can't do anything. And there's a Suyu snowballing with a 9-0 and 3. There's a Granger who's just dealing insane amount of damage at the same time. A perfect build with a Hunter Strike, Sky Piercer into the Malefic Roar. But I think so it was a bit of an overkill. Going for the Blade of Despair as well. Maybe a couple of shutdowns might have changed a few things, but it came down all the way to the draft itself. A few tweaks here and there, and maybe we might have seen a different thing. The picks that they picked up were really not synergizing well together. While on the other side, Flicker Earth Shatter combination into again Banzi hopping in with the Blade Surge. And those were the main combinations they were looking at. And this was all backed up by Skylar constantly popping in his immobile effect. So that's the main problem along with the Mystic Gun and the Mystic Field. You cannot move from there. If you're standing out there, Saki will just flicker Earth Shatterer play on top of you, which eventually happened, but It's absolutely fine. That is just what happened for game number one. We still have potentially two more games remaining. Maybe we will have 40s making a comeback since they will be on the blue side next time, Sakota.
I mean, we're hoping for best of three, but as I said, we're going back into game number two now. Team Fortis has the first pick, so maybe they're going to make a better draft this time around, seeing as they could ban out the heroes of maybe Danzo. Not much can do in that scenario, right? As soon as you saw the soil getting
Always on
farmed
the
up, getting a
way.
few kills, racking up that snowball potential that he has, I mean, what else could you do in that scenario?
My
Just
tail's
try to
itching
split
for
as
a
much as
real fight.
possible and get a bit of farm. But even so, the Matilda and the Kali are getting banned out. Both very good support that synergize well with Suyu and the Lucas. I mean, what would you ban here, right? You know the enemies have second pick. You know the blue team has first pick. What would you go for? An XP lane,
Hmm.
marksman.
Who said there are
But
no
even
Good
shortcuts
so,
in
the
question.
life?
roamers,
I literally
Jungler.
invented one.
junglers this early. I mean, as a jungler, I think that's the last thing I'd go for a ban. Leave everything open, make the enemies suffer. But even so, we're seeing the chip getting picked out. We're seeing a lot of aggression towards the roamers. We're maybe going to see another one getting banned. Maybe a Hylos or a Badang. I mean, even a Gatot Kacha, right? Strong, solid
I
stand.
think so. Maybe if you really are just trying to target one part of it, maybe. But you know what? I think so. You were thinking in the similar tangent. They have banned out the Badang, so no EXP crowd control pressure. But the last ban should technically be a Zushin, which I always talk about. But considering the fact that neither of these teams like to play a Zushin, I think so. We might not really see that. I mentioned about a jungler ban too, Zakota, and there we go. We have a Lucas ban too. Respect probably coming out since they might not want to pick it as they've got an option between a Sicilian as well as a Zushin. One of them goes, one of them is picked up by the other side. But that clearly opens a Suyu up for the grabs. And we had a legendary Suyu in the previous one.
Legend, a Soyu, a fan is still remain open.
Experience
I
the
mean, Ranger
euphony of
getting banned out
suffering.
is just, the best decision here. Like, Moscow's open, Irrital is open, but she's not that great, right, in lane besides counter picking. What could work well? Oh, the Harit!
Time to take the field.
I
We're seeing
understand the
Your
you know
team
that
will
they
see
pick up Harith.
justice in the
Yeah, all right,
world.
it's fair enough. They've picked up a Harith, but on the other side, a Cho as well as a Bruno. I think so. Bruno has been picked up way too early. They could have kept that safe for a while. But we still have a Suyu open. We still have a Hayabusa open right now. Even a Sicilian is open. So the next two picks are going to be very crucial for 40s.
I would prioritize maybe the Suyu over the mages right now, because you can go with any mage, right? Doesn't matter. Dora is going to be probably left open the Eve,
Among the
but the
planes
Suyu is probably going to
exists
get
the
either picked or
equilibrium,
banned out in the
which
next
I was
phase.
made for.
And there goes the Gacha I was talking about.
Muscle of
They're thinking
iron,
about it, and they are going to
bones of
pick it.
steel. With this blade,
Lancelot?
I shall sweep away
Okay.
all evil.
They're just having fun. They're just
We've
having
seen.
fun. If
I
you pick
mean,
a
we've seen
Lancelot,
Annabelle. We've seen Annabelle in MPL ID,
Trust.
no?
Alpha is online.
5 lore steals or what was it?
yeah. But here's the thing, you play a Lancelot when you know you're much better than the enemy.
I mean, correct. I mean, also MS is a very huge factor for Lancelot as a player. If you get that good MS, you're never
Butterflies
gonna get
born
stunned
by
one
thy
time.
wish, guided
Juxin
by
getting
thy
banned out, Alpha
conflict.
getting banned out. I think they need to ban out an XP laner. Maybe, what would stop a Lance? Even a Kufra, if they ban it, would be really good for Team Bambusi.
The Immortal One chose me
So
to
you're getting banned
vanquish the
out.
Hmm.
I mean,
shadows that
we're saying
plague
that,
this
right?
world.
So you have to go. The fan is still open on the table, but I don't know if typing plays it.
That's a good question, though. But, you know, at least I like the next two bands, though, with a Suyu as well as an Alpha. Now, you don't really have a very solid way to deal with the Lancelot, apart from the fact that maybe you pick up A Tigreal? What do you think about that
I am
pick?
not the
Because I think
only
so. There's a
one
very
bound by
solid
these
dive on the other side
chains.
by Seki and then Z. So maybe if you pick up a Tigreal, I think so that could work out really well with the entire draft that
Magic flows
40s are actually
freely
going
as the
with. They picked up a
wind.
fail. I'm not even going to talk about that. I'm just not going to say anything. They are going to have fun. It's not, it is not now falling in the direction where they're systematically thinking it. They're like, what's your favorite one? Yeah, I want to play Lancelot. Go for it. What do you want
Scared?
to play? I kind of want to chill, maybe. So, all right, sure, go for a wheel.
Scared? You didn't realize what's happening in the red team draft.
Yeah.
They're going for a hero skin team. The Esmeralda is about getting Esmeralda is going to be the XP laner.
Fight. Fight for the
What
ultimate
kind of
answer.
hero skin nerd you've got to be to figure that out?
I mean, the Bruno that show gave it away, and I realized the Lancelot
I
fail. You know,
I
think
can reach
about
the
it.
darkness if I'm fast
Zakota,
enough.
I kid you not. Zakota, I kid you not. You have got even our producer impressed by that.
Come on, don't break it. Come on, lovely.
The night
Don't-
sky
What?
tells
yes, sir. Yes,
all.
I told
Oh
you.
my god. Imagine if they don't play any hero skin.
They just pick the goofiest skins ever when they could have a collab skin. But I think they're gonna
Yeah,
go
they're
for
not.
collab, right?
I don't know if they're going for it or not.
Come on. You already showed it. You already showed it.
No, he's not using the skin. Hey,
Yes,
yo.
they're
All right,
going
cool,
for it.
cool, cool. It's a hero skin. It's all hero skin. Yeah, fair enough. That's what they've been pulling. All right, cool.
Come on.
How how do you even come up with the idea of this kind of draft? As in, yeah, sure, Rome, Esmeralda, EXP, we go for a Vale mid lane. That's perfect for us. But you know what? You know what? It's all set in stone, ladies and gentlemen, as we'll now be moving on to potentially the last game of the second semifinals too, because it's gonna be the heroes up against 40s. And yes, I mentioned heroes because they're all using the hero skin right now. Before the rename, they were heroes. I'm still gonna stick to that. But we'll have to see if 40s are going to force a game number 3 or it's going to end right here in a 2-0.
You know what was the other option they wanted to go, from what I remember? Because I was playing with them a few weeks ago. They wanted to go Venom in the semifinals. Like Venom collab. I mean, if they went heroes,
Hey
just
yo,
think about it.
don't, don't say anything about my Hanabi.
Insider information, scared yet goes chocolate.
I agree that she's not a viable pick in the meta. But just don't say it. I
Come
feel
on, man.
sad.
You already know it's not a good pick.
I know it is not a good pick, but I just love Hanabi. I mean, yeah, more so like my wife out there.
Even so, they gave the Fanny over a troll draft, as you could say. But the Esmeralda, I think, is dominating that Hilda. I mean, not much you can do, right? Because the Hilda gets a passive shield. I mean, the passive Esmeralda is just shields. So I don't think that's a good trade for Hilda right there. But in the mid lane, there's always gonna be a battle of heroes, you know. Look in the bot lane, a
Oh,
lot of
ho, ho,
poke in
ho,
the
ho, ho,
house.
ho. A battle of heroes seems like the one on the right is winning. They're supposed to be the villains out here, but still are just winning out on both the lanes. This is just brain dead stuff. Esmeralda winning the fight against a Hilda. It's absolutely fine though, because on the other end, they were able to take down Uma on that Bruno. A bit of an overextension out there, so Fanny was able to quickly capitalize on the back of it, but this gives enough time for Danzi to quickly pick up the turtle because Fanny now needs to take the blue.
Not what I'm thinking. What if they're gonna go up skins in the finals? There's aren't there up skins? Curious. Even so, the Veil is getting a lot of damage towards himself. The Ton from the Gotcha surely hurts a bit. Even so, the Eve poke, but in the bot lane, I think Bruno has 10 stacks on his passive. He gets that gold crab. He gets a lot of poke damage. Even if he got killed by the Fanny, I think he's still a bit ahead in the gold. Purify coming in from the Eve. No, it was a Purify Eve. Funny, a lot of damage. Forcing the Veil to flicker out of there. But even so much, it's a wild draft. A few seasons back, it could actually work in a pro play tournament. What do you think, Scared, of this matchup so far?
You really want my views or you just want my opinion?
I want your views.
Yeah, I'm not giving you that. At least not on camera right now, though. But because something that's being shown right now on camera is Danzi just styling over the Fanny on the other side. Eventually, will recall as well, right between the tier 2 and the inhibitor. Now that's something you only see when you know that you are the hero of this entire fight. And with all of the players that have been happening right now, it all depends on how well Saki can set his team up for success. Because Typing picked up a Fanny, and that too after seeing that it's going to be a Cho pick. So that was a bold move indeed. And Uma is also free farming down in the bottom lane, even though he was picked off once. There's nothing apart from that happened right now. Simply Lovely just wants to jump in on the Esmeralda, trying to catch them down as well as the Way of the Dragon with the flicker. Option of the perfect time. It is the Zaman Force who will eventually try and take them off. But Simply Lovely is out there winning. The controls will shut him down as Danzi will survive, but still it's the Bruno with the basic attacks taking them apart as the god of the winds will be on the side of them. The hero still surviving. Uma may be a bit too close, still needs to understand that you could eventually jump on him with the AOG, but he does not have that up.
Really good team fight in the bot lane. That Veil, which is gathering from, did a lot of damage to that Heart. Just giving that Bruno a lot of advantage. 2 assists. Even so, Saki, I think, choked a bit on his kick. He's just waiting for that Fanny to make a mistake, just step into his Way of the Dragon. Even so, they got to catch up, missed his start in the middle lane. Lancelot with his dashes out there, gathering Storm. Again, not enough damage with that Vengeance on. But that's a bit odd, right? They got to catch up with Vengeance over the Revitalize. Maybe this drummer prefers the Vengeance, right? I mean,
Yeah, probably, but again, there are certain things that go well with certain picks. Maybe that double heal composition would have worked out, double revitalize would have worked out wonders. But for now, the Zaman Post trying to help out the Harith. Too below in that HP, but Simply Lovely is just going to take him down. Though they're just trading the tower blows perfectly, and no way they fell down to the basic attack. While on top, then Z was also able to steal the turtle. They won fights on both the fronts. That is a big play by Bamboozle.
I mean, with
Oh,
Fanny, you
hold on,
can't
hold on,
really...
hold on. Yeah,
Oh,
maybe they want to go in a bit more than what they could chew, though. Still want to catch in something, but the AOG saving the life of the Garrod Kacha. Eventually, the Thorn Rose was enough to take down Typing to such a low HP. There's the flicker into the entire combo of Whale. As the Hilda was just able to watch, do nothing right now, up close on the face with the Esmeralda, the falling Star Moon, catching them down as the cutthroat is there. Uma will fall, and then Fanny will run to survive the Salmon Force, dropped out in the open, but you can't really go right on toe to toe on the face of Esmeralda. Get at it. You don't want to go on the face of Esmeralda.
I mean, I'd want her to go on my face, but even that's beside the point. Lancelot just doing a lot of damage that Torn Rose, but even so, the Fanny still manages to get, I think, 2 kills in that one fight. She is 3 kills up over the Lancelot. She has her Sky Piercer Fanny. Okay, that's a bit odd, but even so, there's snowballing. They're trying to go for a Fanny snowball. Just 10 stacks currently. The Esmeralda got a very nice stun, but still not enough. See right there, that's the Cho didn't have his Way of the Dragon. The Lancelot just does barely enough damage to kill anything.
Oh,
Way of the Dragon,
yeah.
got Vengeance getting popped out. A pound coming in from inside, don't know that the Heart in the push. Zaman Force going down, a lot of poke damage coming in on the Esmeralda, but not enough to take her shield down. In the bot lane though, the Fanny manages to push that turret. The top lane, I think the Bruno managed to put that as well, but still, it was a really good
Phenomenal
fight.
play. Phenomenal play right now from the side of Bamboozle. They're just controlling the pace of this entire game, winning every single fight on all the fronts right now just because of these timings. There we go, another way of the dragon. This time it's again the Garrot Kacha. You wants to run back to safety. The enhanced basic attack saves him from one shot, but nothing apart from that. Azuma picks up the Malefic gun as well. You can't really catch this guy in terms of the range as they were able to quickly secure another neutral objective and make it the life as well. You can't survive, monster. There's the Lancelot behind you. Into the Thorn Rose you move, and in the Thorn Rose you fall. It's gonna be a major win for the side of Bamboozle.
329 scored 5,000, like actually 4,000 gold lead coming in from the red side. But even so, the Fanny still not shut down. She could maybe go for a peek on the Veil. I think that's the wisest choice, but even so, Way of the Dragon getting Avatar of the Guardian misses by a bit. Way of the Dragon coming in the Fanny gets shut down by the Esmeralda killing spree. Forces the flicker on Sake. Hilda shuts down the Bruno, which I think is a bad thing, no? Even so, the Harry
Yeah.
doesn't have the Zaman Force. Simply Love gets another kill, forced to flicker out. Zaman Force going down. Skylove manages to survive again, furthering that flicker for survival. 3, no, 2 for 2 trade actually. I mean, that's pretty even.
It is indeed pretty even though, but here's the thing, they've kind of lost down onto their marksman and Uma. Who's not technically having the best time. That's something you don't really see on a Bruno, and the two contrasting games have been just insane. One Bruno in the previous matchup versus one here. Yeah, that's not something we come across every single day.
I mean, here I think they just went for a troll draft with the hero skins. But even so, the Esmeralda is a
And
pretty good matchup into the Heart and Eve. She gets that
and
shield
for a fact, for a fact, Esmeralda was also winning against the Hilda in the lane. Now that's something we don't normally see, as I said, but because this composition technically makes no sense, but they're still winning out in terms of their individual skills, their mechanics as well. Oh, now the way of the dragon right onto the face of typing. He's no longer typing anymore. He just became typed.
I mean, the Esmeralda is going for an orthodox damage build, but even so, in the middle, it breaks
Ooh.
out the fight. Got catcher with the passive, doesn't have the Avatar of the Guardian. He engaged with it. Lancelot goes in, Thor doesn't have enough damage. We're seeing the Harry trying to clear out that bot wave. The Cannon Min is still alive. The Cho is zoning out. Eve and Harry trying to poke out his low HP. Simply Love gets out, uses the ultimate, doesn't have enough damage to keep going with the fight. I believe they have two anti-heals, the Eve and the Gatsukashi in the fight. The fan is trying to go for a pick off. Not a lot she can do. Bruno is alone. The Cho doesn't have. No, the Cho got his kickback actually. What else? Pretty fast. Bruno got his Berserker raid. The Esmeralda engages trying to bait out the skills of Gatotkacha. Still, that's a really good team fight. Lancelot is going for a burst on the Lord, getting help from the Veil. The Cho is clearing out the mid lanes, are looking for a fight. Zaman Force goes down. Not a pretty optimal place to do it in. Lancer's going to clear the top wave as well. Not much they can do. Sak is trying to look for a kick. There's 4 with the 5 members. Hila gets kicked out. We have the Dragon going in. Esmeralda jumping as well. Gathering Storm. Not enough to burst down the Hila, but just barely as Esmeralda shuts them down. Triple kill going towards the side of Team Nil Bamboozle. I mean, that was insane team fight right
Yeah.
there. Gathering Storm, a lot of damage. The Esmeralda just going in, doing a lot of damage. As again, we say that
Oh,
not enough time to use that Purify, but even so, the fan is cabling her way like a spider. Nothing she can do. 5 versus 4 scenario. The Cho doesn't have his kick. However, the Veil has his knockup. They're going to go for a game under 12 minutes.
phenomenal yet again. And that too on a draft which was not supposed to give them the win. It just shows you that their micros and macros are just so very clear. And none of them went really for a tank build apart from Saki with the Radiant Armor, Dominant Sights. And I think so that's a perfect build with the Dreadnought Armor as the first item because you nullify the damage from the Cutthroat as well as the Steel Cable. And at the same time, you are sustaining through everything that Monster Tuber as well as Harith was throwing onto them. They're constantly giving in those knockups, and eventually, towards the late game, they had enough damage that they could even take out a Gadot Kacha or a Hilda from the fight, and it worked out brilliantly for them. Even though Oma was basically taken down a couple of times, but Skylove on a 407 whale, with the glowing wand as the first item, Genius Wand moving in probably for the Holy Crystal too. Yeah, this guy was just a nuisance, and his stacks, the Windblow stacks were up every single time. So yes, all in all, pretty solid game coming in from the side of Bamboozle, and now they're just ready to face the members of Rocket in the best of five grand finals, ladies and gentlemen. But if you want to watch that, make sure you stay tuned to the stream, hit that like button as well, and click on the follow. We will pop in after this very short break of 10 minutes. Don't go anywhere.
And we're back. I am joined by Kronos in series, the last series of the night, actually, the finals between Team Bamboozled and Team Rocket. I have really high hopes for both of these teams. I think they're on equal grounds. I would say both of the teams are really competitive. Both want the spot to ISEF. I think it's in, again, MENA, right?
Yeah, it
So,
seems like it.
man, it's gonna be an interesting game. I hope. I mean,
Hey,
these
you
teams
know what?
have
You
been
know what,
playing against
Dakota?
each other, man, for a
It's
long
not
time.
just gonna be interesting. It's not just gonna be interesting. It's gonna be an all-out brawl because it's a best of five. You're in the grand finals. You want to represent your country, Romania, of course. So that means they're gonna put everything it takes. They're gonna do it all just to get that momentum in their favor, especially in a best of five grand finals. Game number one is crucial to get the momentum. And if you're on the losing side for game number one, it's crucial for you to shrug it off as well. So I'm excited. I know you're excited. So I don't know if the teams are excited. They better be.
I mean, I bet they have some emotions piling up. After all, it's the finals, so every mistake matters. They can't be using, as we had, a 5 hero team comp, so it's gonna be interesting, as you said.
It's definitely interesting indeed, and I can't wait until we start to get into the game directly. Because if you ask me, I'm ready to rock and roll. We're ready to rumble at this point, and hey, only the teams and make sure the referee is ready to get a rock and rolling.
I think blue team has the first band, and it's going to be red team. So, what can I say? I'm excited. I'm looking forward to a very unorthodox draft. Maybe hero stand we don't normally see. Maybe again, we saw the underdog pick the Xavier and it worked really well. I'm looking forward to the Uranus. I think that's gonna be a really good pocket pick.
Yeah, it will be a good pocket pick in the EXP lane as long as they don't have any sort of counter, as long as you want to make sure you play that 4-1 split, right? You want this Uranus to demand attention. But of course, right now, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the draft, the blue, the red, and on the blue, if I'm not wrong, it's Bamboozle. And right now, looking at the first ban, I'm assuming it's probably going to be the trade of the Suyo, Joy, Harriet, Granger, maybe the Zushin banned out. Kalea is an option as well. Hilda, Hylos, Gato. These are the heroes we want to see get banned off. But hey, they don't care. They want to ban out the Sicilian.
The Sicilian is a respect ban. Both of the mage players are really efficient while using
Ooh.
the Sicilian. Sky Love is, I think, global Sicilian, and so is the enemy mage. But even so, as I said, we're looking to the early trades. The Kalea, I'm 100% sure it's going to get banned out. It's a basically children's use Cho. You don't have to aim your skills, but the Harry goes away. Maybe they're going to ban the Suyo or the Fanny, knowing that Zane is indeed a funny player, but maybe they're going to go for respect bans.
You know, I like how you said that it's basically a child's show because you're right. You just got to click buttons and then you get the hang of it. You get the heal along with it as well. You're quite tanky. You can single out an opponent. You got a double knockup. So at this point, I really want to see it banned out. But also, respect bans are what they need to look for. But this Fulvius here, I mean, I'm not sure, Zakota, if it's a respect ban, but it's still a very good ban.
No, I agree with you. Just the tankiness of Phovius is really hard to deal with in the early game. As soon as he gets that level 4, you can't do anything to him. But as you say that the Kalea does indeed get banned out, I think they're going to ban out either a marksman or a jungler here, take one of each. Even a
Ooh,
Matilda, I think.
yeah, it's gotta be a Matilda coming out from the red side at least. But here, if you're blue, maybe take away the take out the Suyo so that you can get the Matilda. But then you're giving away too much as well. If I was them, I'd probably go for another EXP ban to make sure I'm flexible with my jungle and possibly even pick up the Joy. So
I mean, the Granger
The
is open, the
immortal one
Badang is
chose me
open.
to
As you said,
Suyo.
vanquish
the
the
Suyu gets
shadows
banned
that
out.
plague
And if
this
the
world.
Matilda doesn't get banned out, I think that's a very big underestimation of Team Teeny, because you need that Matilda, right? It's so strong with Lucas as well.
Yeah, Team Teeny right now. Need to be looking at that Matilda ban. You're not lying, but also let's not forget, the Lucas can still be played and paired up with the Florin. I'm not sure how these teams will do with that, but right now you gotta respect ban the Matilda, not for the fact that the opposition might play it or not, but they don't. They want to play for mid lane control a little bit more, so they ban out the Zushin, but they don't care about the Matilda. They go straight for the Badang and the EXP.
I mean, man, the Bataki surely is strong, but the Joy getting picked out the Matilda, that's just one way to go in, one way to go out. Team Rocket did a really good trade-off with that Matilda and Joy. Even so, Team Bambusi risked it for the, like, I don't know, personal picks. As we know, Danzo is a Hanzo player, and the roamer and the explainers are pretty proficient on that, Badang, Saki being the roamer, and simply just being simply good on XP. I mean,
Yeah.
hey, what could they go here? For the mid lanes, I think, right? You trade for the mid lane here.
Wow.
Or the Granger.
Yeah, it's got to be the. I mean, I don't know how the Granger would do well against the Joy, to be honest. The Joy is really good against the Granger. The Matilda being given away as well. They pick up the Hanzo in the jungle, so you're going to have a good time, but they still want to play for that goal lane prowess, that poke in the mid to late game. Granger is broken on its own. It just comes down to micro mechanics between the Granger and the Joy. So right now, if you ask me, advantage to Joy if it's a 1v1, but if it's a team fight, advantage to Granger.
But even so, the Irrital is still left open. The ban phase still has not considered. What is open? What could they pick?
Irrital. I'll be plain.
I
You
mean,
gotta pick
Irrital.
Irrital.
I mean, yeah,
It's gotta be.
Irrital. That's true. But even so, they could actually go for a mid lane.
Oh, Moskov
Go
is
for
good
the
too.
Incarnate.
Ooh, I
But a
like the
Moskva
Moskov.
into a Hanzo? I
I
don't know
like
about
it.
that.
I like it. I like it, Zakota. I like
Will
the
it go
Moskov.
purified?
I mean, it's not just for the fact that it's into a Hanzo, right? It's the fact that you're able to sustain yourself in lane. It's the fact that you're able to split push. It's the fact that you have monstrous late game damage. And also when it comes to mid to late game, you can basically 1v1 any hero. Unless it's like a Beleric with the blade armor, vengeance and stuff. But you're still going to be able to 1v1 any single given hero as long as it's played right compared to any other marksman in this current meta. I like the Moskov being picked up. I also feel like it's probably Teeny's comfort pick. So let's give them the benefit of the doubt. But right now, the Farsa being banned out. What
I
else
mean,
you think?
I mean, they have to keep the blue team has to keep the Lua open for the Hanzo possible playoffs, but they have to maybe ban out the Lucas. I don't like that it's still open, but Faramis is going. But I don't know. Does it counter Hanzo?
Live is to
I don't know about that Faramis. It doesn't really counter the Hanzo, but you do have the option of preventing a full dive because if I feel like they actually are looking for they're looking to they're rather predicting a full dive composition on the other side because they have a Joy, they have a Moskov, they have a Matilda, so it kind of makes sense to ban out this Faramis. But the CC over here is a good ban as well. Just goes to show they probably want to play something like a Hylos on the EXP lane.
But with Hylos, I think they would have too much magical damage. They have to go for a physical XP, like a Hilda or maybe.
I mean, Hilda works too. Oh, but they ban it.
They ban it.
Hylos. I
Lua
don't. I don't.
open on the mid lane. Aurora open on the mid lane. What could
Hylos
still?
Gator.
The Sicilian is banned out.
I think.
Katotkacha for I don't know. It's but I mean it's a bit too much damage, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of magic damage. I agree, but I just think it's just to create that full dive effect that they want to bring in. They're relying on the Moskov literally for all the physical damage, which is good because he's gonna start melting once he has his items, especially that Trinity, and that's when he's online. So they have the Joy to hold up until then. They have the early game with the Matilda. They definitely have the mid game with his Gatotkacha and control of these turtle fights, of these neutral objectives. It just goes to show now, will they have that fast clear rotation in the mid lane? So I'm probably expecting maybe a Vexana in the mid lane, possibly even yeah, I think it's gotta be a Vexana right now because they showed their glue too. It's a straight Vexana lock, right?
Vexana or Luai, I feel right. Like you know, Hanzo Luai combo, it's so broken. If you play it well, you just teleport the Hanzo Shadow straight in the enemy base and you can kill everyone. if you're
TikTok.
lucky enough. I mean, TikTok still, but the Vexana still needs damage to one-shot the glue split, if I'm not
I
mistaken.
think I still think Vexana is the best pick over here in the mid lane. You get the control, you get the early fast clear, you're able to rotate much faster. In the team fights, you have a lot more control, especially with that deathly grasp when the Badang wants to jump in and you're able to melt down the glue. It works out in their favor. They of course have quite a lot of magic damage indeed. Uh, but if the side of if the blue side are able to shut down the Moscow early, then Teeny are gonna have a super hard time.
I mean, it all depends on the early game, but they can go Radiant, Athena for the roamers, and I think that's gonna be enough defense, and they could go for the Twilight Armor as well. I mean, too much magic damage. Still, at the end of the day, 4 magic with the Moscow. I mean, that's I think the game plan. They don't want to build anything for the Moscow. That's why they went for magic. Is you have to build it for Joy, you have to build it for Vexana, the Matilda sometimes as well, because she kind of does a lot of damage to squishes.
True. True, she does indeed. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends of all ages that have joined the stream, of course, make sure you follow and give our friend Nexus a big up because right now you're watching the IESF Romanian qualifiers of 2025 MLBB, the road to WEC. We are watching, of course. My name is Kronos, and alongside me casting is the one and only Zakota, who's going to bring you that insightful analysis for this one.
Thank you, Kronos, for the introduction, but even so, we're seeing some glitching coming in from the Moscow. In the mid lane, Vexana getting poked out a lot. That's why that Badang is so dangerous. The Granger is sometimes winning the early game versus Moscow. As we know, he has the Flicker, he doesn't have that Purify. So it's a bit risky for him to still inch. Moscow is a bit further in the levels. The XP laners are trading, the mid lane are fighting.
I was laughing about the EXP laners trading. Just look at them in the map. They're just walking and hugging each other the entire time, right? They can't do much at this point, but you can see the mid lane fighting for control with this Badang, and they're poking out this Vexana as much as possible. But at the same time, they are not able to mirror the rotation. They're relying on the fast clear of the Hanzo to do all the work. And like we spoke earlier in the draft, want to pressure down this Moscow. But right now, going on towards the Matilda Kun here in between a rock and a hard place. Has the Soul Snatch as well. First blood in the hands of Danziyi. And right now, you can see the Moscow coming to the fray, but doesn't have the damage just yet, Zakota.
I do agree with that. That was a very good play coming from the Hanzo. Just can't think he missed a skill too. However, that skill 1 grab range is just insanely long. He also had the blue rift effect coming through to help him. Zane did get, I think, the top creep. No, he didn't actually go for the lizard. I think that's a bit of a waste of a rotation. They trade the Matilda, the Purify Matilda, and a kill for the jungler of the enemy team. So I don't think that's a really good trade-off.
It's not a good trade so far. And for sure, the Joy Zane is going to be a little behind on farm because, like you mentioned, didn't take the Lizard. But will they be able to capitalize? Because right now, you can see the full dive not getting an effect. Rhythm come through from Zane as well. Going on towards the Hanzo. Danzi trying to go in. Has the Soul Snatch. Trying to shut the damage. He gets the AOG in the back line as well. MCN trying to create the space. Here comes the EG. Turtle Guard. But you can see the Moskov making his way. Trying to dish out the damage. Doesn't have the items just yet. But they're splitting the fight apart. And not really sure where to go. The neutral objective should definitely be in the control of Team Teeny right now.
As we know, the Joy has a better early game compared to Hans. The Hans still needs a few items for him to be effective. Joy can just go out there, get his 3 perfect dashes and do a buttload of damage. As well with the Vexana. Still, they don't have any defense yet, so a lot of damage coming in from that skill on of that Vexana. 700 damage in the early game. But as we talk about that, the Moscow is getting punished in the bot lane. Forced to use the flicker. Hanzo gets the shutdown upon him. Even so, he still has a few minutes left till he gets to his power spike, speaking on both the terms on Moscow or Hanzo.
Hey, not just that, but also if you take a look at it, the Moskov missed out on 2 of those gold cannons, right? So that means he's gonna have a hard time. He's gonna be a lot more behind on farm. That's about 2 gold cannons in one entire wave. But right now in the mid lane, you can see goes in with the rhythm and the
Joe
beats
is
as well on towards
invading.
the glue. The Joy right now is gonna have a hard time, but they take out the Moscow with that diversion play, and at the same time the Hanzo goes and has the soul snatch, but Joy overcommitting. So Zane getting recalled upon as well. We love to see that.
I mean, you can't really invade a Hanzo and expect to win the retribution fight. He can just eat his own buff. And you snap your finger, the buff is gone. You just have to have a proper invade from him, a proper taunt. As soon as his shadow is gone, that Hanzo is pretty much out of the fight for a few
Ooh.
seconds. Split going on, he survives, the Vexana with the guard. Not much he can do. Joy is trying to get the dashes, maybe get a gang on the bot lane as the tower falls. But man, there's no ball effect coming towards Team Tini.
All right, but at the same time, right now, you can see that that glue was getting poked out quite a lot from Vexana. So the Vexana's damage down land, but the Badang tried to create an opening for his team. As the turtle is going to be spawning about 10 seconds, and Team Teeny right now on the blue side looking a lot more comfortable controlling the rivers, Dakota.
I mean, they want the bot later. I'm pretty sure they're gonna go after a mid takedown after this turtle. The gold chip will fall down as well. If they get a pick off with the Hanzo, I think it's gonna be even easier for them to do something. The Joy is trying to get a few dashes.
Oh,
No chance,
nice.
nothing she can dash on. The glue just getting terrified by the Vexana. The Joy is just trying to get that gold lane cannon.
No,
on the
no,
bot,
no.
and the Hanzo's mirroring as well.
The diversion comes through and they want to take down the Moskov on the top side. You can see that Sonata is there as well. Rhapsody being dished out, but this Moskov doesn't know what he wants to do, really. Doesn't want to show himself. AOG coming through to create the separation. Nice defensive play from the red side. And right now they pick off the 1v1 on the bot side. You recall upon me. Zane showing a little bit of respect. I don't know if I would have taken that recall that nicely.
I don't think he would have. But even so, the Gacha
Oh.
his Avatar of the Garden gets his vengeance up. He tanks so much.
Yeah, but only for such a short time, because you can see the glue gets a split on top of him. Grab as well, and he takes him down, but Simply Lovely between a rock and a hard place. Will we see it go down as well? Kun now does have the Circling Eagle, could get a 2-man knockup, but goes away. Not just yet. You can see the Terrify coming into play as well from Sansukar, as they should be able to penetrate, but want to get out just because respecting the damage output that is present from this Granger.
But even so, Joy is playing so aggressive. She's trying to invade the Hanzo. I don't know if you noticed, but in the bot lane, she tried to go for the red buff. But as we know, the Hanzo can just eat his buff. So I mean, it's a good risk to take, because you can always almost guarantee yourself a blue invade if you're like fast enough with a clear. Hanzo, after Shadow is gone, we know he's weak. The Luoyi combination with the Hanzo goes in, misses kill too. He has to teleport back in a few seconds. He gets the jump on, but that's the whole shtick. The Hanzo still lacks damage for him to do complete damage. You know, that one-shot kill with the skill on.
Oh, you can see they tried dive, try to create an opening for themselves, Team Teeny, but the dispersion rotation combo from Skylove is just way too much. The opposition has to run away, and he tries to go in. Soul Snatch is there without any marks pressed. I'm not really sure that's how you want to play the Hanzo, but right now they want to zone them out. That is the mission, to get the tier 1 in the mid lane, opening up the jungle, and thus getting control of neutral objective as well.
I mean, I think that was the plan of the Hanzo, not doing damage, just zoning out of Vexana, what the wave clear capabilities. They're gonna get the free turtle in the top lane, and maybe a free turret as well. They are trading extremely well, even so, 4,000 gold lead so far for Team Teeny Bamboozle. So, the Joy, Rhythm, not gonna commit to it. I mean, it's a bit risky, you don't know where the enemies are in the bot lane. They're doing a 3-man rotation, not allowing anyone to take that Granger down.
Yeah, they want to protect that Granger, right? The late game carry for sure. He's the one that's going to be poking from afar. Uma is the one to dish out the damage. Skylove here, I'm not sure if he's supposed to be there. That's a little bit of an off position. Zane finds it out, goes in for the electrifying beats. So AOG to commit and try and create the separation, but Zane tries to run away. Fist crack comes through. Saki gets the kill, and now Danzi wants to go for more. He finds Sansukar. Soul Snatch coming through. The damage is not present, and they are not able to get the kill. Over committing, he gets taken down with the power of the split coming in from the Moskov using that SOD. be traveling cross-map, and that is why you gotta respect this Moskov when it comes to cross-map plays.
I mean, hey, they got a shot down on the enemy jungler. I think that's a very good trade. He's gonna get that 4-wave minion in the bot lane. The top lane is gonna fall, I assume. Split fleet not coming in from Gloria Joy, going with a Rin.
Ooh.
Ooh, did it get cancelled?
No, I'm not really sure just yet, but right now you can see Zane here trying to use the rhythm. Gets out of harm's way. Simply Lovely wants to go for it. Not really sure if he has the marks. Doesn't commit, but the split has been going on the entire time. This Moskov has been a threat. And as you can take a look at the items, Dakota, he has a Sky Piercer, this Granger. Anything fishy, though?
Nothing fishy so far. First item got to catch a Thunderbolt Rome. I think that's a bit of a waste. No, it's a experience got to catch actually. I just realized.
Oh, Zane here. I'm not sure if he's in the right spot. Gets taken down, but the AOG comes through as well, killing the hands of the Granger. Now with a Vengeance trying to survive MCN, but you can see the diversion play into the backside. They want to go for it. They commit, collapse on towards them. Double kill in the hands, make it a triple. He's looking for the Maniac, but Kun is just too mobile to make it happen. And now on the top side, Moskov just doing Moskov things.
I mean, they have the Lord open. Team TN is gonna take advantage of that
Oh,
most.
no.
Oh,
He can actually commit it. He might get the kill. No, he doesn't. The Granger catches him off guard, takes him down. I'm not really sure if he was supposed to do that, Sakura.
I mean, you have to take the risk now and then. It could have been a very good play. It was the split second Hans was coming back to his shadow as well. That was so unlucky for us at Moscow.
Wait, was Zane just taken down in an instant? Soul Snatch coming through. That's the double that he finds himself. And oh my goodness, it's just now it's turned the game around. They were able to defend the Lord, but giving away 2 free kills in the process just by being out of position. I'm not sure if that's the right move. Kunier should be the third target. Yes, he is. Hanzo finally online. 3 kills on a killing spree at the moment. The Lord is still looking healthy on the bot side. They're trying to go in to penetrate the bot lane inhibitor. They should be able to get it quite freely indeed, but they're not looking around the other sides of the map. They're looking and trying to force an end right now, but knowing that it's not possible. But Zane goes in with the electrifying beats and the rhythm as well, but between a rock and a hard place will go down, and now they commit with the SOD, take away the Lu Yi. I'm not sure if they're trying to go for more, but they should try and disperse. But the Hanzo wants to commit more, Zakura.
The Hanzo has the capabilities of committing. Shadow going in, he gets bursted down from the tower damage. Taki helps to tank that tower hits. The Granger manages to take the tower in the mid lane down. He can maybe get the Dead Sonata to shut the Vexana down for good for now. Lord spawning in 90 seconds. Zane is going to be up and alive by then. The waves are going to come crashing. I mean, that's the shtick with Hanzo. You have to keep pressing onto the enemies. Even if you get bursted, there's no risk for you. Even if the Moscow hits you.
Yeah, you can see the fish crack coming
Nothing
through.
much can do. Godlike towards Nikki.
Yeah, that wasn't the right place for the Joy to go. That's why the Badang is kind of like a counter, right? You have a lot of CC present in your kit, especially if you're in the wrong position. Oh, I'm not sure if that's the right teleport coming through, but you can see they collapse on towards them. Nice fist crack is there, and they take down 1, 2 in the process. Circle Eagle's there to buy some time only, but there's no backup present. MCN, he doesn't even have the AOG to try do something. Kun can only watch as their base crystal gets taken away and game number 1 on the other side.
17-3 score ratio. The snowball effect just kept happening. The Han Solo combo kept happening. Even so, the teleportation, just that diversion into the blue buff just turned the game around for good, I think. Or for bad if you're on Team Rocket's side.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking dicey, right? It's looking dicey if you're them, but at the moment, you gotta respect the Granger. I mean, he made me eat my words. I thought the Joy would be a counter. It is just that the Joy didn't have the greatest of games. We didn't really see the Joy unlock the full potential. The early game was a mismatch created through the EXP side, and then all of a sudden, things just started falling apart.
I mean, not much you can do. I still think Thunderbolt only works on certain heroes like Badang. On Gatotkacha, you'd rush more even a Dominance Eyes for that Hanzo, for that Badang as well, because it still affects a bit of the attack speed, if I'm not mistaken. But that was only game number one. Who can tell what will go in game number two? Maybe the tides will turn in favor of Team Rocket.
I agree. If Team Rocket are able to find their footing, of course. But right now, game number one in the hands of Teeny, of course. Will it turn around? Like you said, Zakota, only time will tell. I'm excited to go to game number two already, but Uma Palavra, I hope I said that right. You definitely got to respect his goal lane prowess.
I mean, you could say his better name, which is Nikki. I mean, you know,
Nikki?
yeah, Nikki.
All right, Nikki, that's
That's
easier.
Nikki.
Yeah, I know it's easier.
72% push on Granger is still crazy. You wouldn't expect that from a basic, non basic attack hero. It's like a Kimi, you know?
Yeah,
From the
kind of
game,
like a
from
Kimi
most
now.
you'd expect it. But even so, 35% of total damage. The Hanzo 30%. Man, oh man.
Yeah, the Hanzo did do quite a lot of damage, but the Granger just did a lot more. Just goes to show how he's so broken in the current meta, really. But at the moment, they switched sides. Switching the sides does help. Blue side, technically, as per stats, have the advantage. So the Harith being banned out is goes to show they banned it out even on the red side. So there's definitely a lot of respect being given for the Harith. And if I was them, I'll just be looking at yeah, just take out a Badang if you want to play the Joy. Take out the Hanzo if you want to have a stationary mage.
I mean, not much you can do in that scenario. The Hanzo Loei combo was just so strong. They should have respected that Hanzo. We know Danzo is the Hanzo player. It's in the name right there. But even so, not much you could have done in that snowball scenario. They didn't have anything for the Granger. If they had an Irritel, maybe they could have traded a bit better. The Moscow was there for the split. It didn't work as much as they would have liked it to work.
Yeah, it should it shouldn't. That's up for technically in theory what we're saying works, right? Only it comes down to how these players are able to execute it, the situation at that very given point. The Kalea right now being banned out, the Sicilian taken off the table as well. These are all first pick material. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. They're all banning out things that are first pick worthy. So they don't want to they don't want to play for any trades. They're looking for a comfort hero. If I'm not wrong, it's probably got to be that Zushin that they're looking to pick up, or maybe even a Suyo, and then not give too much on the other side while getting the trade back still. So they're leaving a lot open that could be a second pick material just to pick it up first.
But even so, as the first pick changes, I will invite Scariat to change the caster as well for a new voice to hear. I'm sure you got tired of mine for a bit. We're just gonna try to keep it a bit more fresh in this final evening between Team Rocket and Team Bamboozle. Welcome back, Scared.
Thank you so much for that, Zakota. And come on, my man. I love you, bro. I never get tired of hearing either you or Kronos whenever you're on desk. I was enjoying the entire game on the back end, though. But my man, I was so on my toes for the entire previous game. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to be right now, too, because I see that Suyu being logged in as the first pick. And I remember what Zayn did back when he played Suyu in the semifinals, Kronos.
Hey. What else can we say? I'd like to, I like my memory jogged a little bit about that. Maybe even jog the memory of the viewers that are watching. But of course, right now, if you ask me, I'm definitely tired of hearing Zakota's voice all the time. But they still have the Suyo that not. A lot of love, Zakota. We don't hate you. Suyo being picked up. Granger and Hilda on the other side. This has got to be maybe a Hylos a Gato just to play it. No way they're gonna go for a Harley, right?
With the things that I've seen today, I do not know for sure. We had a hero lineup, by the way. All the five heroes of the hero skin: Esmeralda, Lancelot, Cho, Bruno. I don't know. There was one more. I forgot about the name of that. Maybe. Yeah, Whale in the mid lane. We had the entire hero lineup, and it actually won. So you may never know what's actually coming on the board, though. But something that can pair up really well against the Hilda on the EXP lane is definitely a CC. So we're going to be seeing that. Plus, the Hanzo actually comes back yet again in the draft. So, all right, we'll see how things go this time around, if it's eventually going to be worked out or not. But the junglers have been locked in for both the sides. So, I think so, the idea of the ban. Here's the thing, Kronos. If you ban out the mage and the roamer, you are technically lowering down your own hero pool as well.
Mm, in a way, but also I feel like it's gonna be more targeted, right? They're probably gonna keep something open for themselves, and Rome mid. Mm, they kind of have to at this point. They got to take out whatever doesn't work, what they don't want to pick up, or what they don't want to trade on the other side, and pick something up for themselves. Because right now you can see they ban out the chip, the Zushin's being taken off. Because these are all, if you look at it, the red side definitely gets the first pick, right? And
Mhm.
which is Teeny Bamboozle. So they definitely get the a priority pick. So that's why the Zushin's being taken off. While the trade is still made, the chip is not something they want to give away. So I think it still could be another Rome band that could come in here. Maybe a Tigreal, but I think that's just not right. It just doesn't sound right. Maybe a Gato will be better.
My mission is to
Yeah, I
protect
think so.
lives.
But it's
Oh,
actually going to be a high loss on the other end, though. I think so. You were on the right line, right? They just ban away the entire room. Hilda, though, Zakota has been asking me this question for quite a while now,
Vessel
and
of
how
iron,
viable Hilda
bones of
is on the roam
steel.
position. I'm pretty much not a big fan of it, though. But considering the three of the bans have actually been the ones that are really good on that roam position, I don't know if they want to put that way in, but here's the thing. We have seen one of these teams pick up the Edith as well. So I think so. I'm still pretty much on for that surprise too.
only surprises they're looking. I know you're looking at the you really want to cast the Freya game. You just don't want to do it. I get it. You're fine. The
If
Valkyrie
it were
right now.
Hanabi, I would have said yes. If it
No,
were
but it's
Hanabi,
not
I would
gonna
have
be
said
there.
yes.
It's not gonna be there. But oh no, they go for the Novaria after looking at their EXP, after looking at their jungle, realizing no one can reach the back line unless they go through the front, which is already the Hilda. A Hanzo's gonna be poking from afar. Put up another tanky boy in the front line, and then this Novaria is gonna have a field day with this Granger with a heavy poke composition coming in from their side. I love it.
I'm on for it as well. Just playing from way too far range with the skills that are not on a very long cooldown. So you can technically prolong the team fights as well. While on the other side, they're kind of a bit more dependent over towards the ultimate. Do you need something that can actually jump onto the backline or maybe pick something up as well that can poke that entire range? So they lock in the Xavier Sun and this time around along with the Jawhead. I'm not quite sure if that's actually the best way to go. You've got a Xavier for your side. You've got nothing that can technically burst down who is going to be sent out your way until Erethiel farms up or a Xavier farms up. That's a bit of a problem. But now this Rome is the big question as to what is going to be tanky enough to sustain through all of that.
Definitely not an Atlas. I can tell you that. It's got to be something that can not just be tanky, but can also initiate. Nah, I was gonna
Oh
say
my god.
I said a Tiger earlier, but it doesn't look right just because you have the CC on the other side. You have an Irithel. After looking at the Jawhead and the Xavier and also a Suyo, there are a lot of mobility on the other side. It's relying a lot on this Hanzo to do the poke, or rather the Hilda to do the poke, and Hanzo to come and clean up. So a lot of pressure really riding on this EXP lane Hilda to create the space and the opportunity for the Tiger to provide the set. Otherwise, the Tiger should just be happy with a single set, single hero set.
Probably. And I think so with the kind of composition that they have, the single hero set is something where they would really want to go in. So I still think that maybe Rockets are going to struggle in this one.
Yeah, the Rockets might struggle. Well, we're not sure about that. But ladies and gentlemen, what we are sure is we're going into game number 2, and we did switch up the casters as well, just because we're tired of hearing Dakota's voice. It's myself, Kronos, alongside me, Scared Yet, who was there the entire time, and now bringing his knowledge into the game from what he's seen, of course. And you are watching the IESF Romanian qualifiers for MLBB. And a big shout out to, of course, Nexus for streaming this thing.
Yeah, we can hear his roars in our ears, but not the audience out there. Oh my goodness, Skylar, we just did not see you miss out a
Did,
point blank cringe.
did you see? Did you see the
Meteor.
recall? Did you see
Yeah,
the recall?
I did actually. I did. Jesus, man. They're just having fun at this point. I remember the recall spams even in the previous game. So you know this, as much as it is a way to kind of just have fun and poke your opponents, it's also just to, mentally somehow create some problems for them so that force some kind of mistakes on the other side. But for another mistake is this poke. Eventually both the mages will go back though, but a good trade in favor of Skylove.
Yeah, it's definitely a good trade for them to start off. And EXP side as well, you can see the CC being a nuisance towards the Hilda, which is a given. That's why the Hilda trying to freeze the wave in their favor. But right now, I can't believe that Irithil's actually having a tough time against the Granger, where it should be the opposite. While I will really closely be looking at this Tigreal to do something, because right now he goes for the Sacred Hammer as well. The first blood, though, in the mid lane being given away. Kun flickers in, and so does Ulma Palavra flicker out.
The timing on the back of it could not have been better. If only that was the coordination of me with my co-casters as well, maybe I would have had a better time as on the desk and given them a better time. Unfortunate out there, but for now, Danzi.
You can see right now, he's the assassin indeed. I'm not sure if he had a cappuccino, but he's definitely an assassino right now, forcing out the vengeance. But you can see the throw coming in as well, canceling out that ultimate to make sure he survives. Doing really well. The gold lane bout still going through. And the turtle is what they need, at least for both sides. And as you can see, Scared, what we spoke about in the draft, this Hilda needs to create that separation.
Yeah, that's the most important part about it. And I think so Simply Lovely is doing a phenomenal job at that. Just zoning away Zane from the turtle itself to make sure that it's going to be an easy time for Danzi to secure that, considering that Danzi is on a Hanzo. So regardless of what the situation is, mobility will not be the best thing in the arsenal.
Oh.
But they seem to be fighting a bit
Nice
more.
Astral Echo coming through as well. Sansukat right now. Oh my goodness. I'm not sure if the throw was in the right spot, but you can see it did help out. Soul Snatch missing the Xavier going on towards the Jawhead. So bought a little bit of time, but Zane really missing out all the skills. But thanks to the help of the CC dishing out the damage, the Granger was just in a wrong place at the wrong time, paying the price, and now might find the third. But nice implosion coming through to pick up the kill. And here's the cleanup crew as well. They find another two in the process. The third should be on point. As you can see, the Irithel will be taken down. If they get a fourth, that'll be just too much.
Soon has just got blood on his hands. My man's been missing the ejectors every single time. It's thanks to him that arm is not just losing an arm right now, but his entire body. What a play in that entire fight. From starting all the way from the curtains call, eventually into that implosion of the other side. This has just been such a back and forth, and you kind of understand that, right? Because Suyu wants an early game snowball. So again, if you're a Rocket, you really want that early game snowball whatsoever. But on the other side, you've got a Hanzo for Bamboozle. So they're just playing it slow. They're having their own fun time. And they've got a Granger who's eventually having a good time. So I think so they can try and drag this game too.
Look at the top side though. Rocket trying to force Bamboozle in a difficult position. And all thanks to Kun. He's not able to find the ejector on point just yet. The ejector is going to be absolutely crucial. So let's wait and find out.
Seems to be the case. As again, the turtle is going to be up in the next 5 seconds though, with the maximum people on top. Oh, ejector, Kun. Yeah, please don't do that. He's not ready for it. They're going to move all the way down pod. But I think so Hanzo's going to have a fun time taking that turtle. There's no competition out there. First few items already being made up. The Hunter Strikes being picked up as well. Soon enough, we're going to see the Corrosion Strike for Danzi.
Yeah, it has to be there. That's his nice damage power spike. He gets it indeed. Like you mentioned, Sky Piercer as well in the hands of the Granger. I kind of forgot what Zakota told his nickname was. But right now you can see the ejector can't really do much. They move together like a unit. The conceal play on the top side as well. They find the Irithel as well as the Suyo. I'm not really sure if they want to commit Skylove without the Echo right now. Doing the Meteor. catching Zane off guard, and the target being the Irrital heavy crossbow comes out. You can see the implosion catching right after the use of the Purify as well. So they trade goal laner for goal laner. Well done, both teams.
Phenomenal approach indeed. That implosion was one of the most crucial ultimates out there, utilizing it to the perfection. We've seen so many Tigreal players just trying to give a 3-man, 4-man set, but they kind of miss on the opportunity. Hold on.
Oh my goodness, they go in and you can see right now Kuhn is there. He has no ejector just yet, but he gets poked out by Skylove. A lot low mana coming through. They want to be the aggressors. They have the Jawhead. They should be able to take control in the early game, but this Jawhead has not worked out so far. And as you can see, the Jawhead himself goes down. Kuhn paying the price for going a little too aggressive as he has been all game. And now Uma Palavra forced to flicker out. The Soul Server coming through as well. Blade Surge trying to execute him down, but unable to do so just yet.
Almost finishing him off, but it's always the flicker from Uma that's coming in clutch, but seems like there's no clutch up in top lane. MCN poking out Simply Lovely. But here's the thing, here's a Hilda. It's going to be one of the most boring matchups out there. Both of them low in the HP and they're just healing back up without any problem, but Zane might change things.
Yeah, and I think right now what he's changing is his position. He really needs to change that. Soul Snatch coming through. He turned the tide around, of course, but not for his team's favor. Nice Mystic Field from San, but you can see that Tigreal being annoying. No backup just yet, but he knows that he can be taken down also. So just being a complete nuisance as the neutral objective is up in about 7 minutes and 10 seconds.
Next focus is going to be on that. For now, we have seen both the neutral objectives fallen for the red side. Maybe this one's going to be the same though, but look at bottom.
Wait, was that a win? No, it wasn't. It was a nice heavy crossbow. Purify. I'm not sure for what, but definitely the damage was dished out. And you can see Uma Palavra picked up the kill on that Granger, doing really well. Now they get their hands on the turtle also. The buff being reset, implosion coming through, and you can see they get the retribution on point. Zane does get it, but the Soul Snatch is doing too much damage, and he's able to survive thanks to the Soul Sever. And the increased defense slightly coming in handy as well. But they still get the mid lane tier 1 turret.
Yeah, and that basically is going to give them the access to the jungle as well. So Zane is not going to have a pretty time whatsoever. Hold on. All right, my man just I-framed through the Sacred Hammer. And I was about to say maybe he's just getting a bit too greedy, getting all these creeps at such a low HP. One snipe and he could be dead.
Oh, Zane here could be going down, but nice block coming in from Son Sukar. Mystic Field as well, but they go in with the Unstoppable Force. That's a lot of damage connected as well with that Dawning Light. Mystic Field once more to save him. Implosion could have been done, but understanding now's not the time. They back off and they want to take down more turrets.
Yeah, I want to try and prioritize that macro gameplay right now. Both the lanes though have constantly been pushing, but maybe this time they want to try and get a pick. And
oh my goodness. We spoke about the Hilda to create the space and the opportunity. That Hilda don't care. He wants to get all the damage on the board. And now also doing the same on the top side to clear out one tower. And you can see, Scared, that poke composition that we mentioned about earlier. This Granger, this Novaria coming to fruition. And as well as the Hilda creating the space. Tigreal finding those opportunities. So everything is working. All the checkboxes are ticked here.
And they've even moved in towards this mid-game, towards the late-game transition too. It's 9 minutes already. For now, Teeny, they eventually just taking away all the farm, trying to increase that lead even further. Astral Echo, and in the meantime, then Z just sitting in front of them, recalling, doing the exact same thing that he did in the previous one.
Yeah, they definitely did a lot in that one. And the Lord looks like it's going to be theirs. Not going to lie. It's calm right now, but it's the calm before a storm. But the storm is just not brewing at this point. But you can see Zane trying to go for a steal. He might get caught out. Soul Saver is there. Retribution misses completely. And now Zane might be going down. Good backup coming through from Kuhn as well. But they go in. And oh my goodness, the opportunity presented itself. And guess who took it? It was the Tigreal indeed with that flicker implosion. And now recalling. standing there menacingly as they can't really do anything about it. And now clowning the entire opposition is looking so difficult for them to come back after that one. 9k goal lead in their favor. With the Lord in their hands, marching down the bot side. They have the range, they have the poke. Will they end?
Highly possible, as now the inhibitor falls too, and there's no holy shields protecting them whatsoever apart from the mid one. The Lord is going to be moving in. The only good thing that is working for the blue side is the fact that the waves are not managed perfectly.
Oh my god, but the bad thing is that their jungler is not going to be present right now, and he's even a frontliner assassin to try and clean up the backline. And now the Lord being melted down. I'm not really sure if they capitalize after getting a pick off even.
Nope. Nah, they did not. Again, the mismanaged waves was the big problem. Hold on, Danzi goes ahead.
Yeah, you can see the Hanzo right now trying to dish out the damage. Soul Snatchers there, no marks present. However, they are still not able to penetrate through other inhibitors. So yes, they have the advantage, but the clean finish that we're looking for not present just yet.
Yeah, and they're constantly clearing up the waves as well, side by side. So, you know, the farm choke you think of is not happening, but MCN eventually happened to fall by the hands of the other side. Now they're going to try and force mid.
Oh, nice. Ejector coming through onto her. Simply lovely, but the damage from the Grangers is way too much. Finds one, and now Zane trying to go down, but he's kiting beautifully. At the same time, you can see they get the damage onto her. Sand Sukar dropping an emote as well. And oh my goodness, there is no possible way for them to defend right now. Simply lovely, just creating the space that's so much needed. Nice implosion as well. They find a full 5-man wipeout as the base crystal left exposed, and they take it away.
It's not just one now. If I'm not wrong, I think so. That's the second game which they've stolen away as well. A phenomenal one indeed. They knew the strength of their composition, and that was in the range. They kept at it. They were perfect in their laning phase too. Did not give up any kind of structure. Simply lovely had a fantastic rotation. And the fact that this guy also made a Fury Hammer, that was the main reason why he was constantly getting that extra bit of damage, which was normally not expected of a Hilda. Then Z as well on this Hanzo was playing absolutely perfect as a perfect gameplay on that Hanzo. So you always love to see that. Yes, a few things not really happening well. Specifically, Arm, who was supposed to win out that lane, at least in the first few seconds of the game, did not happen. Because we clearly saw Saki as well, all the way in the mid lane, helping Skylove clear that wave. So I think so that was a window which was missed out. But apart from that, again, MCN dealing the maximum amount of damage because the late game power spike was just not hit by their side. Yeah, that's a bit of a bummer, but I'm expecting them to bounce back in the next one.
They better bounce back because they already gave away 2 games right now. And in a best of 5, this is what you call match point towards the other side, and also a possible reverse sweep on the card. So if not, it's going to be looking like a one-sided series, which it has so far. But rightly so as well. They've been absolutely utter dominating the entire team, right? We've seen a low kill score, a single digit against a double digit score coming out, not just in one game, even the previous one. But for now, I think it's just going to be quite difficult for them to find their footing because their draft had the idea, just the execution was missing. While the other side had slim win conditions but checked all their boxes. That just goes to show, like, hey, they better pull up their socks right now.
They have to. This is basically a do or die for them. They wanted to go in for a few of the pocket picks, which eventually did not work out. And I think so. The main reason is, again, most of the rumors or the impactful rumors were banned away, and the composition does not really work well with something along the lines of a chip, specifically once you have a CC. You kind of want someone that can actually hold that front line, maybe changing a few things up, right? Changing the notes, that getting a Phoveus in the lineup, and then pairing it up with something else might eventually work out for them. So it's gonna be something we'll have to see. As again, on the blue side, we've got Teeny. On the red side, we've got the Rockets.
Yep, on the red side right now, they're definitely not having a good time. Lost out on both, not getting the advantage. And now it's game number 3 in this best of 5. If I were Teeny, I'd be looking to call it a quick end. Go and grab your dinner, but at the same time, you never know. Rockets definitely want to make that comeback happen, and they want to make that comeback possible, right? So the
Oh,
Sicilian again being banned
yeah,
out. This time the Hanzo just being respected.
I agree.
I
They
am
don't
not
really want
the
to
only
face
one
the Hanzo in
bound
this
by
one,
these
and
chains.
Phobius as well. I mentioned that maybe this is something we will see from Teeny, but all right, that's been
Manzio's
taken
been itching
away.
for a real fight.
It is absolutely all right. You know what? I kind of want to try a new thing, though. I don't know if that's going to be the case with Teeny or Rockets, but I want to try a new thing on this desk, and I want to invite Zakota as well. I want to hear my guy. I want to hear all three of us sit here talk about this game.
Man, after the Kronos trash talk, after Crony trash talking, ain't no way. But even so, I think Team Rocket has to respect that Hanzo, and they did. And the Kalea ban as well, Fovio Cecilian. Again, respect bans coming in from both sides. The Kalea, not so much. They have to ban out at the Granger as well. 2 games in a row they picked Granger, if I'm not mistaken. 2 games they lost. Same with the Hanzo. Same with the Hilda, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
To our heart's
I
content.
think they're just right now reacting on the other side, right? The reaction is what's kind of killing their momentum. They're not able to find their footing as well. They're just straight playing into the hands of the opposition. And now I feel like the Lucas ban also is a nice hard read coming through, but also going to show that they want to play a composition that's really good at team fights.
Your team is picking.
Talking about
Yeah.
the fights, the Hanzo. I mean,
Sometimes
Yeah, you mentioned about the
wisdom
team
works
fight itself,
better
right?
than
So the
brute
Hanzo
strength.
pretty solid at that. We clearly saw what it did in the previous one, but the Badang is the one that I still remember in game one was absolutely out of my mind. And if I'm correct, it was
The
Rockets
Immortal One
themselves
chose
who
me to
picked it up. Right
vanquish the
now, the
shadows
Zushin
that
left open,
plague this
still not
world.
going to be forced out. It's a Harith first pick coming in from Teeny. On the other side, Rockets quickly secure the Suyu in their hands. And yeah, this is the thing, they got the Suyu, they lock in something for the EXP or rather a flex pick like an Hylos. I think so. They're pretty solid in this draft already, Zakota.
I mean, they give the Hardy for the Suyu, and maybe the Hylos would be a smart choice
Fight.
here.
Fight for the
But they go for
ultimate
the
answer.
Hilda. They don't want to give it away. I mean, that's also a smart thing. But they leave the Hylos open, they leave the Katotkacha open. What else is open on the experience that's really good right now? CC is open, and it's a pretty good counter pick to Hilda and Suyu. Hmm. What do you think,
Mm,
Kronos?
I'm not sure. I think the CC is a good pick. It does do wonders. Well, like it does help out the Harith also.
Eyes on the
Does
way.
but the Matilda was left open. The Zushin's left open. I think these are just two picks you don't want to let go of. But it does mean a lot of magic damage. But it does mean a lot of mid lane, early game, mid game as well, control as well as the dive possibility coming on the other side.
There,
Yeah, and at the same time, you predicted for these two picks, Matilda Zushin. Both of them have been locked in too. And I think so in terms of that magic damage which you're mentioning, they pick up a physical damage EXP as well as a physical jungler. I think so it's all going to be cool in the books. Though right now the joy is open, and I think so the only one who can match up really well against the Suyu in the jungle, apart from an alpha snowball, is I think so Joy, who can eventually reach even to the backline itself.
Trust.
But yeah, that would
Alpha
eventually
is
mean a lot more
online.
magic damage. And I mentioned about the alpha. It seems like Rockets have heard me,
Who
Zakota.
said there are no shortcuts in
I mean,
life?
Alpha
I
chip getting
literally
banned on the
invented one.
team fight capabilities have been lowered down. 3 mages, they have to ban
Time to
physical
try the
junglers,
beat
but
of the
ban the
flesh.
joy.
Is banning.
Hey,
It
just because
doesn't.
they played 4 magic in the previous game.
I mean, they don't want to get copied. I mean, still. But even so, on the jungle side, the Nolan is still open and farewells against the Suyu with a choke pick to combine, get that stun, get that lockdown on Suyu, and that's GG. What else would be a good pick on the jungle for the blue team? Hmm.
I've been waiting for too
I
long.
mean, they want to go for the Hylos if they ban the carry or they got to catcher. Because there's nothing else to ban that carry for. What would be good? A Fredrin jungle, actually. Hold on.
No, no,
No,
don't
no, is
do
it
it.
gonna be a
No way.
Fredrin Matilda with. Yep, it's gonna be a Fredrin jungle on the left side.
No, you can't. No, no way. There's the Nolan. There's the Hayabusa. I was gonna say you're just jumping into conclusions. You just want to see the Frederick pop out. We know you like his abs, Dakota. You gotta chill out for that right now, because Hayabusa at this moment looks like a nice prime candidate just to take away this Eve. but also have that potential pick-off angle that could come at any point. The fight is the fight's already being controlled by the Zushin and this Matilda. The dive is there, the damage is present. Now just paired up with the right EXP laner, and it could be a good and a brilliant draft coming out from their side as well.
It's gonna be a Fredrin crony.
No, no, no.
Watch it. Come on, give it. No, Danzo. Come on.
With what you just called him, yeah, I'm pretty glad it's not a Fredrin. It's gonna be a glue pick hopping in after a long time, though. I'm on for it. I'm absolutely on for it. But this Claude in the goal when an initial was actually open. I mean, that's an interesting pick per se, is what I'll say. But here's the thing. I'm still pretty on for it because you've got a diving Khalid, you've got a diving Suyo, a diving Hilda, Claude as well, who wants to jump in the enemy backline, and that is going to happen when the real world manipulation drops. I think so. This still is a pretty solid composition in theory. The only thing that can actually ruin it, Kronos, is the Mathilda.
The Matilda is the key to the composition that's coming in from Tini, right? Well, Rockets right now, they really need to find a way for this Eve to click. Once this Eve clicks, their entire composition will click as well. So they're playing for that box, that RWM, that kill box composition. While on the other side, they just want to go all gung-ho. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, so do we. The casters for tonight. My name is Kronos. Alongside me, Scared Yet and Zakota to bring you the action. Yes, we're going with a 3-man desk indeed. But right now, speaking about 3, it is match point, as the side of Tini are looking to take it all away in a 3-0 sweep, unless the Rockets are looking for the possible reverse comeback.
I mean, the only reason they pick the Cloud here is for that beamy eye to dodge the Hayabusa shadow kill. It's not a bad choice here, but still, it's with a sprint, not with a purify. We're seeing already the mid pressure coming in from the Juxi. The top lane is starting to trade a bit of damage, and so is the mid Khalid. Oh, close enough. And so, man,
Yep.
just early advantage from that Khalid damage. The Har is trying to
Fun fact
free.
is, here's the thing, you might actually think that Harith is supposed to win the lane against a Claude, but if Claude hits level 4 early on, then he'll be just blazing, duetting that wave every single time he's got that up. And the cooldown is also kinda similar to what that blazing duet's cooldown offers you. So, hold on.
I don't think it's worth it for the Hayabusa to still go in now. The XP laners are kissing it out again. Which one's the best lane kisser? Hina's going for the mid lane rotation already. Still, the Juxin is left alone. She can fare out. She has the flicker ready. She's just trying to play for a freeze. The top lane, Harold is poking a bit harder than the Cloud. But even the Matilda's there to assist the Harold, can we see something going on in the top lane?
Oh, you can see the dive is
You
there
know,
on towards it. Ooh,
here's
nothing
the
yet.
thing. Both of these teams are just edging us so bad on these fights and then moving all the way back. It's blowing my mind.
Yeah, it definitely is at this point. The turtle is up, and I think both teams are looking in prime position to contest. Hayabusa is looking to steal it away, while Zane is the one who wants to farm it up. Tries to get a level advantage as well. That's good coming in from Danzo. Doesn't have the purple just yet. And now creating the separation, but Rockets don't care. They want to play for gold lane prowess. And this time, understanding that is done, the Zane left exposed. They want to dive on towards him, and it's come through. First blood in their hands, and they also get the turtle. Will they steal away the purple? They do have the retribution hands of Danzo, and seems like they will. They got more than what they asked for, and also not giving away the gold laner in the process. So advantage Tini indeed. Oh.
Shadow kill
Big
going on
advantage.
the Eve. Real manipulation not enough. Sky loves manages to get that kill done. But you think Team Rocket has an invade heavy composition compared to Team Bambusi. Even so, Khalid,
You
team that
did
can go for an invade on
Bambusi.
the Hayabusa, it's still a bit more dangerous than the Hayabusa invading. It's still a bit more squishy, even without the shadows. He cannot do much damage in the early game.
Yeah. Hold on. There's something brewing up towards the top side though, Kronos.
Yeah, you can see right now they have the Blazing Duet. Zaman Force dropped down as well. And although Zaman Force was there, Blazing Duet was not unlocked. I thought they would try and go for a commit. Soul Sever coming through as well, but right now the Guiding Wind able to get out. You can see the Raging Sandstorms there. Both Flickers coming into play, but here's finally the Blazing Duet. They trade 1 for 1, but advantage to the side of Rockets. They take down the gold laner, but at the same time, they pick up a mid lane from Rockets indeed. So still played out in the favor of Teeny, but on the top side, a lot of pressure on towards his Mathilda and still able to make it out alive. Good flicker coming through, and Zane now between a rock and a hard place will be able to go down, and yes, he does. Rockets, every time they take 2 steps ahead, 1 step behind, and give away the advantage they got.
Yeah, that's a big problem right now. Zayn was not supposed to die there. That's something that it's gonna hurt him a lot. He's already going 0-2. That means he's not getting enough gold for his farm. And his item power spike is not gonna be as pretty as it will be for Danzi on the Hayabusa Kronos.
Circling Eagle comes through. Kuhn right now has to get out of harm's way. He's already used the Raging Sandstorm. Quick Sand Guard to get it back up. Second turtle of the game present, and we are looking at Teeny in prime positions once more, Zakura. And look at them, they're actually stealing the orange away as well.
I mean, that's the right thing to do. They're just baiting out the retribution of Soy, or at least hoping to. If he doesn't use it, he's gonna lose his life. He's gonna get that stick upon him. Even so, he manages to use the dash a little bit too early. Danzo manages to get that retribution on the turtle. He's gonna clear that top lane, maybe push the tower in the bottom.
You can
The
see the
damage
bot
was
lane.
A lot of damage coming through. A good
Yeah, a
play.
lot of damage. BMI is there as well. And right now, looks like the Claude is not having a good time. Chrono Dash comes through. Synchro Fission with the recall. Meanwhile, the beacon being put out as well. Kuhn has to run away. Raging Sandstorm. I'm not really sure if that was misclick, but he did get a CC on towards 2, but still gets taken down. Danzo just flexing his prowess on the Shadow, his prowess on the Hayabusa, and so far scared. It's looking like game 1 and 2. Deja vu for the side of Rockets.
The later it goes, the stronger this Hayabusa is going to become, and the Zushin is just being such a big nuisance right now. MCN cannot even catch a break, and he's going to be taken down probably as the Yogi Shadow Kill just deletes him as the RWM drops in at the same time to try and catch in some trade, but they cannot do it.
Yeah, they're looking for the penetration right now. You can see the Quad Shadow connects as well. BMI is there trying to get away. Simply Lovely trying to create the separation, but Guiding Wind, but Kuhn with the Flicker Raging Sandstorm. He's not a lot of HP, but here comes the Blazing Duet coming through from the Claude. Not enough damage. Zaman Force to dance around while the kill in the hands of Skylove. 5-0-4 split from Simply Lovely is there as well. Already Ogi Shadowkill committed to the back line. You can see the Beacon doing out quite a lot of damage from Skylove. They pick up 1 and another. 7-0-4. This Zushin's having a field day.
Yeah, look at the chase, Zakota. They just want to push MCN back all the way to his inhibitor.
Do you think they're gonna get an under 10 finish this game?
No way, right?
I mean, it's looking that way, doesn't it?
I mean, it kind of is.
Hayabusa.
7 minutes in, the Hayabusa snowballing super hard. Like level 11 compared to the Suyo's level 8. And Suyo is supposed to be one of the strongest junglers, farming really fast as well. So at this point, with the turtle being up, I'm not really sure it's looking good for Rockets.
I mean, currently I see a really good composition, but they're not utilizing it to its fullest potential. The Hayabusa is always in the top lane, he's always taking care of that wave. They're just trying to force out on the river towards the bot lane. I mean, they have tower advantage, they have gold advantage, they have level advantage. The only thing they're missing is a big set stun. Matilda can go in, but that doesn't guarantee an instant win on the team fight compared to Khalid stun. But even so, it's just looking as they're perking towards the top lane, trying to take the tower ability, heal that. Oh, that was a bit sad, Kronos, don't you think, scared?
Seems to be the case right now, but one thing that's been happening pretty good for The side of Rocket is the fact that they are at least getting a push
No.
down in the bottom lane. But look at the mid side.
Yeah, Zane here. I'm not really sure what he was thinking there. He was completely out of position, but guess who else is? Sansukar as well. Ogi Shadow Kill comes out. Killing spree in the hands of this Hayabusa. Now the dive into play as Saki picks up the kill on towards the Hilda as well. The Claude trying his best to split the map. Garnered the attention of Teeny, but guess what? Only for no return. Blazing Duet to try and survive. No BMI present, but he doesn't pay the price. However, the topside inhibitor already taken away. Simply Lovey with the help of Uma Palvera. And now they might try to end. They already got the job done.
Sounds like the Romanian brain rot names that we've been constantly taking.
Hey, Zakota, what does is Uma Palavra like something in Romanian?
I think it's a different language.
Oh wow, okay. It's
With
a different language
uh,
indeed. But if you take a look right now, Hayabusa trying to be the Cappuccino Assassino and melt them down. The inhibitor still left standing on the bot side. It's not going to be a 10-minute finish. They have the Holy Shield, and the Lord is going to be up soon and looking dire if you're a Rockets fan. Not the basketball team, but the Mobile Legends team right now for Romania. Ogi Shadow Kill. Oh my goodness, that was without a single mark on towards the Claude. That's just pure raw damage coming through from Donzo. And right now you can see Zaman Force drop down as well. Zane again caught off position, gets taken down, and that is an unstoppable in the hands of a Matilda. And guys, let me remind you that they have only sacrificed 1 kill towards the Rockets in 10 minutes.
And that kill was kind of a very big outplay by the candidate. He flickered forward as soon as the Harry did as well. You know, he predicted the prediction. But even so, I don't think we're gonna see that under 10 finish. Khalid is far too deep, use his ranging start Mertic. Eve with the flicker, Euro manipulation goes down, not enough to save herself. The mid tower is about to fall down. They have a wave coming top lane, bot lane, and mid lane at the same time getting synced up.
No way. You can see right now they lose 1, they lose 2, 3, 4. It's like a domino effect coming through. Blazing Duet, but for no reason, there's no wave. He's just dancing around his base crystal, can barely stand. And right now, you can tell Rockets didn't get the boost that they needed. And Teeny are able to get the bamboozle out of them. Pick up the victory, 3-0 fashion in the grand finals of the Romanian qualifiers.
Teeny just being the tung 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 sahur, man, just changing the form like that, not dropping a single game is bonkers. And if that's not brain rotting enough, the only one who actually fall was Uma, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna get reported for that, for giving away that 1 kill. But it's a 23-1. You call it out drafting, out macroing, out microing. Yes, all of those things combined at the perfect point. And it seemed like the mental of the other side was eventually taken down. Team Rockets could not contain themselves, gave into the feelings a bit, and they kind of lost the idea of what they needed to do. Eventually, just getting picked off one after the other, and then just the snowball effect rolling through. It was an unstoppable play, and Saki doing a fantastic job on the Mathilda just blows my mind.
Yes, it does indeed. And it came down to that full dive that they had in store for themselves, right? That Matilda just working to their favor at this point, along with that Sushin, that Glue. Although I don't, Glue seemed like more of a comfort pick as well. It wasn't the best, but it definitely wasn't the worst. So it worked out for their favor. And I think if you want more details on this, who better to ask than Zakota? You know these teams throughout, Zakota. What did you think of them?
I mean, both of these teams have been rivals for a long time, especially the players. You know, it's always gonna be the case. Even if in your own region, everyone basically, you know, has his arch nemesis, you know, and that goes with the same team right here. They've been duking it out for a couple months, if not years now. They just transition from one team to another, but they keep the players basically almost the same, just one or two getting changed. I mean, Nikki, the Harit, Uma Palavara is the best goaltender I think Romania has to offer. I mean, But what else could you do in this situation, right? They have the snowball effect. They have a bit of the better draft. Team Rocket didn't use their composition to its fullest potential. They didn't use that invading potential at all. They had the Khalid, they had the Hilda. I don't think there was one invade throughout the entire game beside Zane trying on the bot side once.
But you know what, Zakota? All it came down to was just one word: victory, champions, call it whatever you may. Because that's what the side of Teeny Bamboozle did. As you can see, Uma Palavra also means one word, and that one word was victory for them tonight.
And Nikki kind of trolled the entire game. He gave them one kill. I think they were trying to
Yeah,
make
I
a
know, I know.
perfect under 10-minute end, but I didn't get that. I mean, a lot of push from the
Holy
Hayabusa,
smokes,
split push
man.
potential. Also, the heart pushing a lot. Not much you can do with a draft. It just has too much of a snowball. Like, with a Cloud, you can snowball as harder as a Heart. Heart has his early game potential. As soon as he gets his 3 little core items, you can just dash every second you want. You know, incredible that hero is still not nerfed to this day. Not much you can do, eh? It's
Not really, anything that the side of Rockets could do. It just came down to the execution. They didn't really have the plan come to fruition. So at the moment, all we can say is champions to the side of Team Teeny Bamboozle. Well played, GG's.
And I think so. With all of that said and done, boys, I'll have to extend my heartfelt gratitude to both of you as well, and also to Nexus, the one who streamed it for us. It was such a phenomenal run, even though it was a couple of semi-finals and this best of five grand finals ending up in a 3-0. It still was a pretty solid journey out there. And again, a big congratulations yet again to Teeny Bamboozle for winning it out and qualifying from the IESF Romania qualifiers. We're going to be seeing them in the future now, and a big heartfelt congratulations to them and a good luck to all of those people out there. But thank you so very much, Zakota, Kronos, for hopping in, saying hi, and basically just in brightening up this casting desk. And to all the audience as well, everyone on Twitch who joined us, make sure you hit that like button and click on that follow as well so that you do not miss out on this fun, amazing content of MLBB and maybe more. Nexus, huge shout out to you, my man, as well. Thank you so much for staying here for this entire evening. But with all that said and done, uh, to be honest, I think so I'm going to still say it. Congratulations, Rin. It was a humongous success. We'll catch you guys tomorrow, or rather, we'll catch you guys in the future. Make sure you stay tuned for the updates. Thank you so much for having all of us. Have a good night.
Good night.
good
Lili la
night,
la.
chat.